Welcome back to another episode of the Echo Podcast with your host Apollo P and
Kadiatu
and Jeffrey.
And we are accompanied by a very special guest. She goes by the name Victoria Gravesande.
Yes, Vic, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so
over a year.
honored to be here. Yeah, the last time we saw each other was March 2020, right before the pandemic closed everything, and it is now November 2021.
Yeah, so how have you been, Miss TikTok star?
I've been really good, you know. Definitely really busy. It is so nice to be a grad and to feel like an adult, but also feel like an adult during the pandemic. So I see a lot of the inside of my house and nothing else. Yeah. How have you been?
I've been good. How have you guys been?
I've been holding it down, man. I've been good.
Jeff, you been good? Jeff,
Yes,
you been good?
I'm good, and I'm excited for today because finally we have equal representation.
Okay.
Yes.
It looks good.
What's he talking about?
What you talking about, Jeff?
The fact that I'm not the only Asian voice, I feel like every time I have to defend
I like the
my
fact that
Voice? You
there's
said
another
I like the fact
Yeah,
you said voice.
I like that there's another woman here.
Voice.
I
I thought
feel like
it
Kadiatu
was-
gets
is it
drowned
vo-
a little
Asian
bit.
Oh, he was going to say
Asian-
person.
Asian voice. Yes.
Voice.
Yes.
I like the fact that there's another female here, so this
That
is going to
too.
be a
That's
great
important.
conversation.
All right.
To kick it off, let's talk about music, because, you know, that's how we always start.
Hold on.
You want to kick it back?
Let's dig into who.
All right, my fault,
Victoria is.
We know her, but he doesn't.
My fault.
true.
That's true.
Okay, so Vic, tell the people a little bit about yourself. Who
Okay.
is Victoria?
So
Yeah.
my name is Victoria, and the reason that I was invited to be on this podcast is because I'm kind of a big deal on TikTok. Actually, I'm
Big up
actually,
yourself. I like that.
I'm actually completely joking. I
Hey.
think TikTok has like 1 billion users now, they said, but I have 30,000 followers as of this morning. I might add, I was at 29.9 for like a good chunk. But yeah.
Talk to her nice. Now you busting up the
Yo, give it up for that.
No, but facts,
Yes.
big up yourself.
Yes.
I would say I've had like 2 somewhat viral TikToks. One of them was talking about the male gaze and how men and women try to appeal to the male gaze. And my second viral TikTok was about mansplaining, which was actually like a trend where I was like, oh, stitch this with a time that someone mansplained to you. And I actually got like a lot of celeb people stitching that, like Rebecca Black. Childhood
Oh,
icon. who
Friday?
sang- yes, literally. Like she stitched my video. Like it was very, very cool.
Yeah. So how does it make you feel to know that people are looking at you as this like woman who embodies feminism and talks her truth all the time?
It's definitely really intimidating, and I feel like I've had to hold myself accountable for a lot of the things that I want to say, a lot of the things that I want to post. I think it's also like helped me change like my way of thinking. Like I'm definitely a little bit more critical in like the judgments I make myself. Like I catch myself all the time where I'm like, would I be making the same judgment if this was a man instead of a woman? So like definitely a lot more accountable, and like yeah, a lot of fatigue as well. Like I definitely got a lot of like hate on like my mansplaining video. Like obviously you can't say mansplaining in a room of men and expect men to not say anything. And like I understand that. That's a part of starting these conversations. So
But you've gotten a lot of support too.
yeah, definitely more support than hate always. I would say hate is like 2 out of every 100 comments.
Hey man, like they said, if you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping.
That part. That part. Facts.
Hey man, I like how you guys are getting this interview bag right here. I'm not.
Hashtag J school.
Keep going. I like what you guys
This is
do.
really J school right here.
I don't know what J
Actually.
school is.
Journalism school.
I never went to school for journalism. I never went to school for journalism, so I have no clue.
I was looking at him like, wow.
Journalism
Commoner.
school.
I never went to school for
Wow.
journalism, so I don't know.
That's crazy.
That was like such a niche Carlton
Ew,
moment.
why did we say it like that?
I don't like
J
that.
school right here.
Cut the camera.
We paid 30 grand for that. We might as well just flex it, you know? 30 grand.
For 4 years?
Yeah, well, that's my intuition. So,
Yeah, that degree was
something light.
expensive.
You paid more for that?
Something light.
My fault, thug.
Something light.
No, okay. Anyways, but
No,
no.
you guys. I like the fact that you guys are all good.
you want to talk about how we met, all of us? Like,
Yeah.
All right,
How you
okay, yeah, let's
how
get
you
into
guys
it.
cool?
Yeah.
You can go first.
How did we meet? How did we meet? That's a great
So
question.
when you remember, let's talk about Jeff and Victoria.
Victoria,
Okay, well,
Because
Actually,
you
yeah,
don't
because it
remember.
does tie into feminism, I would definitely say.
Oh, Lord, okay.
I'll start, and then you can add along
Wait,
to it.
let's
Okay,
go, let's
so
go.
Jeff and I had an assignment together in second year, I believe.
Second year, yes.
And we were just in like a private study room in the library, and we were just talking about like dating in general. And then Jeff, like unprovoked, like no one brought up race, no one brought up anything. Jeff is like, yeah, I would never date an Asian girl. If I dated an Asian girl, I would feel like I failed. And I was like, you know,
Asian?
cute single Asian girl at the time, and I was like, I liked like not liked. I do like Asian guys. Like I was like, oh, Jeff is like pretty cute, and then he said that, and I was like, like my eye was twitching. I was like, why would you say that? And like,
Okay,
Yeah.
listen.
That's an example of fumbling the bag.
Hold on, listen.
no, to be honest,
Everything
I
happens
think
for
it was the start of a beautiful friendship, actually. Like,
Yeah, fumble the bag.
no, I think Jeff and I are like better friends than anything, and I feel like our friendship like
Fumble
definitely.
the bag.
Well, listen, I've made this clear. I've never hit this that like, you know, I had a lot of self-hatred. I had a lot of learning to do, and I feel like that was necessary because it turned me into the person I am today, which is more understanding, more proud of my culture and heritage, and yeah.
And more aware of misogyny and like
Yes.
how that like under that umbrella of self-hatred, of racism, there's like that niche, which is sexism and misogyny, where it's like women are going to be more hurt than people who are not women. If that makes sense.
No facts. I'm trying to remember when we met in first year.
We met in first
And it
year.
was- we
I
were
think
trying to
you were with Rhea, who was actually
Yeah.
on a podcast.
Yes, yes,
yeah,
easy
yeah.
and connection.
And then she said like, come to this study thing with these other people. I'm just like, okay.
That was like me in first year. I was like just collecting every person of color in journalism. I was like, hey, you guys want to study together? There's a lot of
Quite
white people.
literally.
Let's get good grades.
Yeah, and
it
I
was
feel
literally
like we met
that.
at your dorm, and then that's where we
Yeah.
studied, right? That was the first time we met, and then we had like a big conversation, and then from there we just started being friends. Yeah. So wow, crazy.
Yeah.
That was like 6 years ago.
J school.
Yeah.
Yes, Carlton representation.
You're missing out, fam.
J school.
Yes.
Where connections are made.
Period.
All right. So now that we got well acquainted with you, Victoria, and your relationship to my other co-host here, let's get into like topics. Let's pick your brain. Let's see what your opinions on certain things that's going on in the world, and let's start off with music. So Jeff, take it away, man.
Yeah, so the big release of this past week was the Summer Walker album, Still Over
Yeah.
It. I gotta quickly say, I am very impressed with that album,
Wow.
first of all.
Nice.
Also, the numbers came in, and the numbers are doing way above expectation. They're about to sell about
As it should.
over 200K. So that's really good because I people were predicting like 80. She got 200, and it was a very cohesive album.
Yes,
and
definitely.
a responsive album, which I guess you guys can help break down since did you guys listen to the album?
I did
Yeah.
listen to the album. I've been listening to it a lot, actually. Like Summer Walker, I wouldn't say I'm like the biggest Summer Walker fan, but like this project specifically, I had to listen to it because of like how much buzz it was creating. And I did find it like very cohesive. She was talking her shit. Like she was so raw. Like
Calling out people's names.
calling out London, like London, did you screw that girl for real? Like I was like,
Yeah.
she really said that.
That's what we're doing now? Say less.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it was the song "Fourth Baby Mama." Or it was one of the
Yes.
one of the final songs where some of the lines really hit. Like she was directly coming at London, talking about how she treated her other baby mamas. How the line about calling her the queen, but only the queen of R&B, not the queen of her as a woman. And then the line about him apparently abandoning her during pregnancy. That was the
really
one who
sad.
hit me
Like,
the
how are you
most.
gonna make me spend this pregnancy alone or
Yeah,
something?
exactly.
That like really hit with me.
What I liked most about the album was like she was literally talking her shit, like no filter. She was saying what she had to say, and then afterwards she also made a caption on Instagram, like basically telling women to like be confident in themselves and not take any bullshit essentially from like men or relationships in general. So I thought it was pretty dope.
It was a female empowerment album.
Fam, I was walking away like I don't know who I have to be mad at, but like I'm mad at this individual and they're not gonna
Well,
talk to me any which way.
London, first of all, first and foremost, and his response on social media.
Yeah, he woke up and just chose violence.
That relationship was very publicized. Like I remember seeing that relationship, and it kind of fit with what she was saying. Because I remember how open he was with her, like giving her gifts for the social media and stuff. And it seemed from the outside that they were like a lovey-dovey
Like
album.
most things are.
Yeah. And then the secrets come out, and it's crazy. Like
I remember like the first time they broke up, she like tweeted something. She was like, a female alpha like me can't help but attract a male chauvinist or something. And I was like,
how did he got her back on stage when he did this whole big thing, right? Was
Yeah.
that when they got back together?
I remember that.
Yeah.
Something like
I'm just
that.
like, but then what can you do? Any thoughts on it?
I didn't listen to the album.
What a loser.
Did you follow even like London on the Tracks and Summer Walker's relationship or anything like
I just seen the clips that would go viral here and there.
Yeah.
But like we already had that understanding. Is like they're kind of toxic.
Yeah.
So
Well, some people were saying that she should have never been with him to begin with. That she should have known.
hindsight's always 20/20.
Of course.
Stop it.
No, but
Exactly,
but that's
you
what they're
never know.
But like just that's what some people were
Yeah, I mean, of
arguing,
course,
that
of course.
he has a reputation with the crew he's with too.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he portrayed himself to be something he's not. You know, a lot of people do so.
And you know that loving someone, you always
I know, but
like
still, you know,
their
like,
potential and not like who they actually are. I feel like we're all victim to that in
unfortunately,
dating.
yes.
I remember the closer of the album. I think it was the closer where
Sierra's
Sierra.
prayer.
Yeah. I thought that was a really good way to end off the album as well.
Like on an optimistic note, like there's hope. This is a learning point kind of thing.
Oh, that's why I saw tweets about if you're the fourth baby mama, it's a choice.
I did not see that.
I was like, why are people tweeting stuff like this? Oh, now it kind of correlates.
Yikes.
And I think Cardi B and Sierra are both fourth baby mamas.
Are they?
I think so. I saw a tweet that said that.
Wait,
Cardi B is a fourth baby mama. Am I wrong?
I mean,
Wait.
she's a whole wife.
Wait.
She got the ring. She got the ring.
Respectfully.
She got the ring.
Yeah,
She
I
got
love
other
Cardi
kids.
B.
The ring.
Oh.
Yeah, wasn't Offset's album Father of Four?
She got the ring.
So he does have 4 children.
I thought it was Offset who had all those kids.
Offset
Yeah,
doesn't.
he does.
Oh,
Yeah, he also has
she's
all
the fourth
those
baby mama.
kids, yeah.
Oh, right. Sorry.
He goes, I got kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
He got mouths to feed. He said father of four.
Father of Four.
That's his album, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Father of four.
Literally.
I actually really liked Cardi B's opening too. Like, I liked it until the very last line where she was like, I don't remember what she said, but it was something along the lines of like, oh, like don't bother with these hoes or something. I was like, it's not the hoes' fault that you are in this
you're saying-
situation. Like,
yeah.
you have only your man to blame for that. Truthfully.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Who's really to blame?
It goes both ways too, like
Pointing
in terms
fingers,
of yes, 100% check your man, because a lot of people be checking all these girls when you should be really checking your man. Check your man first before you come for all these other girls.
Hold on.
What?
Respectfully.
No, it's true. Am I wrong?
I'm gonna stop you right
Okay,
there.
go stop me.
When you're in a public relationship such as that, you already know who your man is. So if people coming at your man, like you clearly did, they know they're disrespecting the sanctity of your relationship. Facts.
No, okay, but you see how you stopped me? I was gonna go for the ladies as well.
Hold on, it's the ladies' fault. But like, if I walk into a room and you already know
Who's
who
in
my
the
chick-
relationship?
you know who my you already know
That's
who
the
my
part.
chick is.
Who's in the
You know
relationship?
who my chick, and you coming after me, you disrespecting her.
Shut the hell up.
And control what you can control.
Exactly.
Like, at the end of the day, there are always going to be people who are out there trying to sleep
it's
with your
up
partner.
to you.
It is up to you
to
and your
decide
partner.
whether you want to act upon
Period.
those
Like,
feelings or whatever the
yeah.
case is. It's not every day
Exactly.
blame the other female. Like, yeah, 100%, especially
Yeah,
if she
blame
knows.
them.
No, it's but
They
if
know my situation.
No.
Why you coming
I
at
get
me?
okay, but what are you 6? You don't know
You know my situation.
Bro, they're
You know
coming
my
on.
situation. Why you coming at me?
And like, I also think it's really interesting when people
Why
try
you
to.
allowing this? You know
Why are you allowing this?
You know my
At your
situation.
big age, you're out
You
here
know I
talking
have
about
a whole girl on the
No,
side. Why
clearly,
you allowing this?
you don't know your situation.
I know.
No, you don't.
I got a girl on the side.
Clearly
I mean,
not.
right here.
Okay, but
I
then
got
you
this
should
whole-
not be
I got my
acting
whole
on
main
those-
girl. I got my main
Oh, but
girl
then-
right here. And then
no,
these,
we're not
these
gonna have
girls
this
are coming at me.
conversations and
You
no.
know my situation.
Okay, so they're the ones to blame because you don't know how to
You know
act
my
on your.
situation.
No, we're not having this.
You don't walk
argument.
into a place that says no trespassing and think it's okay. So exactly the same thing.
I don't understand.
1 plus 1 is not equaling
It's not
2.
making sense.
Yes, it does.
No, the math is not mapping.
Private property, no trespassing, and you still decide to
To
trespass. Who's to blame? If you know I have a whole
Is this
girl
how
right
men
here-
really think?
If you know I have a whole girl and you know that the relationship like that, and you just still decide to pursue me,
See what I have to
who's
do
to blame?
You see what I have to deal with.
Oh my god.
Who's to
have to do
blame?
My eyes twitching.
No,
I'm having a
you have to
literal
deal with.
allergic
Okay, thank
reaction
you.
to this. What the heck?
No. Okay. No. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I'm saying. Facts.
At the end of the day, the man is still to blame. And I think the private property metaphor did not work, number one. People have property, first of all. Second of all, yeah, it just did not add up the way I think you thought that it
Thank
added
you.
up.
It adds up, man. It's done the adding.
Yeah, something I also think is interesting with like all like the Summer Walkers, the Cardi B's of the world, like when they are open about their man cheating on them, a lot of people are like blaming women. Like they're like, you're stupid for being with a man who abuses you. You're stupid for being with a man who mistreats you. And it's like, at the end of the day, like, why are we constantly blaming the victim? Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to have compassion for women who are in abusive relationships. And cheating is abuse. Like, at the end of the day, that is emotional abuse. You are consenting to being in a trusting, loving relationship with someone. And if they
Okay, kind
Paulo said
break
he
that,
does not agree.
that's like,
He does not agree.
cheating is abuse,
Abuse?
straight up. Yes.
I mean, it can affect. It's an emotional abuse.
Emotional abuse. It is
Low-key,
emotional.
it turns people
Emotion.
mentally.
It's what
Yes.
cheating is a breach of trust.
Okay,
Now, when we start
that
going
too.
abuse,
Is that too?
That's abuse.
You shaping
okay,
up
maybe
the narrative.
like serial cheating is like more like on that abuse.
But like, at what point, if it's a serial cheating, you usually only find out the first time, and you go like, you got to make your decision after that. If they cheated on you 500 times, and you found them on the 501 time, and it's like, shit, fuck.
Well, actually, I have a question. Why do you feel like women in those situations stay in those situations of like getting cheated on?
I think like it's never as linear as people think it is. Like I think a lot of people see like strong woman, strong man entering into this relationship together. I think when you go on that like emotional journey with someone, you value their opinion more than you value anyone else's opinion. So all of a sudden this person is like your earth, this person is like your God. And then that person like slowly starts breaking you down. Like it's never I'm in a healthy, happy relationship and all of a sudden my man is cheating on me. It's I'm in a healthy, happy relationship and all of a sudden we're having a fight and he's calling me names. Or and then
really like this
exactly.
because-
Like and then you just you kind of like gaslight yourself and you like tell yourself like this is not the man I fell in love with, like he's gonna come back, it's gonna happen to me. And then I feel like the way we weigh our opinions of ourselves on other people, that slowly like builds who we think we actually are. So it's like a steep way down, and that's why I say that cheating is abuse, because it doesn't just start with I'm in a healthy, happy relationship, woo, all of a sudden my man cheated on me, it was like a ghost came into a relationship. It's a progression.
Well,
100%
I want
it's a
to say
progression.
that oftentimes men who do cheat tend to try to keep a happy home, to where at the point where a woman might be delusional into what she. Not delusional. I want to say delusional.
Are like
but
men trying to
it's
keep the happy
okay.
home, or
I
are
think-
women
I
trying
think
to
a man
keep that
who
happy
cheats
home?
is continue to feed into the relationship and make it a positive home. It's just that he's deciding to step out.
Okay.
I feel like, all right, so there's two different things I feel like you're trying to get at. I don't know, I could be wrong. But I imagine one thing is if a man's cheating on his wife or cheating on his girl, he's not necessarily doing a whole bunch of negative things that's leading up to cheating to where she's now, she's,
Oh my gosh, I gotta let him go.
yeah, it was more so probably it's a happy home still. It's just he deciding to step out. That's why certain men might have an affair or a woman on the side and still being able to maintain a family structure at a very progressive rate. You know what I mean?
Is
And
it a
it's-
happy relationship? There's probably something missing in the relationship for him to
Yeah.
pursue that after. And actually, I'm starting to think about it more and more. In some ways, I do agree with her a little bit in the idea that cheating could be an abuse. Because I think the idea of an abuse is you're deliberately trying to hurt someone.
No.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I think so.
No.
Yeah. And I
No.
think
You
that.
think you can accidentally abuse somebody?
What is it?
No, like if I'm cheating, I'm not. All right, so
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what
so-
the thing is, there's people. Okay, oftentimes they put this label on women, right? When they find out that her man might have done something crazy, she goes out there to try to cheat back. In
yeah.
terms of trying to get back at someone, a man is not cheating for emotional reasons. He's cheating more so on a
Physical pleasure.
It would be more as a pursuit of like I'm just trying to knock something out. Like I'm trying to like.
What? Did you just say knock something out?
Yeah, like I said.
Clearly,
that's him. He doesn't
clearly
speak for
my
all men.
swag is-
Trying to, like,
doesn't
bro,
speak for all men.
scratch.
Please.
What they're trying to do, it's a scratch.
Don't put me in
Trying to
that.
knock something out. Like
No, it's not like that.
My eyes.
No, it's not like that.
you trying to knock
I'm
something
gonna get a
out.
rash from what you just said. Like, what?
Listen, if
No,
you're in a happy,
something
great
else.
relationship, you got everything you need. You don't need
Thing is,
anything else.
it's because some women allow it, but in a sense where it's like.
Hold on.
Oh, you're not done yet?
No, what do you mean?
No,
allow?
let me finish.
Some women
mean
allow
allow?
men to go cheat. It's
What do you-
100% true.
Allow you? No,
allow.
you accept.
accept. Sorry.
You
Accept.
No,
Period.
you don't allow.
No,
You
no.
accept.
Yeah,
But some
I
women
like
also do allow. Yes, I will say allow, because if they had said, "Oh, you cheat, I'm gonna leave now," no, they don't leave. They stay in the relationship. Some women accept it. Sure, yeah, they
Accept.
accept it. But I think that's what can also be like confusing, because other women will look, because honestly growing up, like I always used to think like, oh my gosh, why is this person still in the relationship? Like just leave, in the sense where it's like you know this person is just going to continue cheating, they're going to continue hurting you, why are you still staying in this relationship? But for them it's like, yo, this person is like giving me everything that I need, this person loves me, like if I go anywhere else I'm not going to find this kind of love. So it's like it's confusing, but
But I would say that that's
up.
a part of the emotional abuse. Like your partner being able to
trapped.
convince you
Yeah,
that no one is
yeah.
ever going to love you the
That's
way
why-
that you
that's why I
deserve to be
agree.
loved. And I do
Exactly.
think that is a form of abuse.
Oftentimes women go like, nah, this is a good situation. Well, the thing about relationship is the relationship is all about negotiation, right? You get what you negotiate, right? If you negotiate, if you're able to take care of 80% of the household and me emotionally, physically,
some cases.
and psychologically, and you still creep out on the 10%, then I feel like the 90.
that's
or 80%.
okay.
It's all about negotiation.
Yeah, no, listen,
You negotiate what you
by
get with
any
your partner.
means, if you agree, that's your business, okay?
Yeah, I agree with that,
It's your
too.
business, for sure. Do your thing. But I'm saying for men who go out and cheat and think it's okay to just come back and be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do it.
No, you get caught.
It's not gonna happen again.
Like it's not gonna happen again, and you have these women actually thinking like, oh, this person is not gonna ever do this to me again, and like he really loves me, and he's providing all this for me. Like, bullshit. That's not really the case. You have them.
Those are the women that are deep
And I
in
think once
Yeah.
you're not firm in your boundaries like that, like you're opening yourself up to more disrespect.
No, it's
Like
true.
if you can get away with it once, you will get away with it again.
It's true. It's so hard to get out of those type of relationships. I've never been in one of those relationships, but it's like it's really hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like
Apollo, what do you mean by explain knocking something out? Like why? Why?
Yeah, can you give us like a visual of
Like, why does a guy
exactly
wanna
like
do that?
Shit like that.
Why does a guy want to do that if in the relationship?
We'll do what?
Knock something out.
First, you have to ask him what that means.
First off, when you say knock something out without context, it just makes it sound crazy. So what are you trying to say?
No, you explain.
And
You're the one who brought it up.
I
Bro,
explained it
what?
within context, and now you're saying it without context.
No,
and it's
because you're
throwing me
talking
off.
about cheating,
He's
right?
repeating your own words.
Yes.
And now you're like, that's crazy. That's out of context.
I'm okay with you using my
Don't do
words
that.
within context.
With the context of cheating. So
Okay.
you're justifying it in some ways.
Am I justifying it?
Well, that's what I'm asking you.
How do I justify something if I just been an example of a
Because
man?
you were just explaining, like, okay, so their justification for cheating is that they're going to knock something out. Now I just want to explain why and like why would they
Like,
want to
can
do
you
it?
talking about
actually
how, like,
imagine
the
if
man
women did that?
provides
If
and,
women
like-
were like, yeah, I just had to go knock something out
They
because
would
homeboy
lose
does
their-
not know how to do it. I had to go
Yeah,
find someone who
there's
did it.
women
Like,
out
can
there
you
like
imagine
that.
if women did that?
There's women out there that do that.
Yeah, they do.
Yo,
that.
there's women out there go like, yo, hold on. You ever
But
been
like
on Tinder?
also like look at
You ever been on Tinder?
Look at the opinions
You ever
of
been on
men
Tinder?
who cheat on their partners and women who cheat on their partners.
You ever
Men
been-
who cheat on their partners, like nobody is gonna boycott London on the Track. Do you know what I mean?
Hold on.
When
First
Kilani
off,
cheated on,
women are,
I think it was Kyrie Irving.
Women are pathological
people,
liars.
Went crazy.
People
We're
went
not pathological.
nuts.
Women are pathological liars. So those stats.
Okay.
Oh,
stats
Lord.
mean-
Oh,
I'm
my
not-
God.
okay.
This is crazy.
Relax.
I'm not gonna entertain that argument.
Relax.
First topic, by the way.
Those stats would never be
Pathological
as
liars.
accurate as they
But
should.
like in pop culture, think about how
In pop
women
culture,
who
yes.
cheat on men are treated versus how men who cheat on women. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Again, with like the Kilani and I think it was Kyrie Irving.
Because what we still look at celebrities in the pop culture world in a biblical view, right? So a woman does something that goes against the grain or goes against femininity in terms of cheating on a man, or you get stoned. But if a man does something like he's supposed to have a flock of harem, like a concubine and stuff, like multiple concubines. And so when a man showcases that he's able to, get one woman after another, it just shows how dominant he is as someone who is able to walk around. But I say he's letting his nuts hang. You know what I mean?
So you agree the Bible is sexist?
Huh?
So you agree the Bible is sexist?
Do I agree? I mean, hey, it is what it is.
Okay,
How you gonna get yourself out of this? I was really wondering how you were gonna get yourself out of that one.
Okay.
Yes, Jeff.
Let's cut this right now because we are coming back to this conversation at the
Okay.
end.
Go on.
This was what we were talking about later.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna revisit this conversation because there's a lot to say on that. But let's go back to schedule and let's talk about the Kanye West interview, the iconic interview. He said a lot of things. Let's break down some of the things.
So-
Where do you want to start, Apollo?
First off, I want to say that interview is one of the most prolific interviews this year. Granted, I like when Kanye is dishonest and discandid, especially with Noriega. All right, so first off, like he said, he was coming at Big Sean, which took a lot of the headlines. When he said like he walked up to LVC, he put like the RIP thing on his shirt, and he was like, when I die, it's gonna say what do you think? The best thing I've done was I was sign Big Sean. The
Yes.
best thing I did was sign Big Sean, right? And so he said that because Big Sean and as well as
John Legend,
Talib Kweli, these are black
John
figures
and
that came
Sean.
out during the election time and told him to either come back home or denounce him publicly, which kind of like these are people who in his core,
I just want to say, fuck Kanye, man. Holy crap, man. I was
this
so.
go?
Hold on.
come from?
Okay, let's explain.
Wait,
Why
I'm
is he
Swiftie, but I would never
disrespecting
say
Big
it.
Sean? Big Sean was one of
What
the
is
best things to
going
happen to his career. Big Sean is a
Sean
top
was the best
3
thing that happened
rapper.
to Kanye's career?
No, like signing Big Sean? Yeah.
That happened
Big
to
Sean
Kanye's
is a top
career?
3 rapper.
No, okay, so Kanye. Okay,
Bro, what the
No, let me explain.
Girl, what
So
did
you
you
said,
just say?
because y'all are
you
just
said fuck Kanye to say that Big Sean is the best thing to happen in his career?
Yeah, one of the best things to happen in his career.
But, hold on.
I respectfully disagree. As someone who does not know a lot about Kanye, Big Sean is not something that I think of when I think of Kanye. And I'm a
Kanye
Swiftie.
dropped a whole bunch of classic albums before he signed Big Sean.
I'd rather listen to Big Sean than Kanye anyway. So
I think he's
I think-
just hurt.
I don't know why
He's going
Big Sean is being
through something.
disrespected. I was so uncalled for in my eyes. And I think that Big Sean, like he's always disrespected for music and everything.
If someone pointed
He's
a
a top
gun
three
to my
rapper.
head and said, "Name 5 Big Sean songs that aren't features," I'm dying.
Ass.
As Nicki Minaj feature.
Oh, well, true. Okay, there's also One Man Could Change the World, you know.
Oh, I won't lie. He has bangers,
Yeah.
100,000%. But like, I don't know where you agree with the whole.
I'm just
Top 3 rappers.
No, I think
Would you go top 3? Did you say top
No,
top
three?
3 rappers.
You said top 3 rappers?
He did say that.
I'd rather listen to him than like J.
So
Cole.
who-
You'd rather listen to him than J. Cole?
You're wrong for that.
we're not gonna
He's-
do J. Cole
is
slander
underrated.
again.
He's underrated. He's a. Did you see his
Big Sean
freestyles?
is underrated?
Yes.
I would agree that Big Sean is underrated.
Yes.
I don't
No,
know if
think
I would
he-
say
no,
he's
no,
better
he
than
got,
J. Cole.
he got his justified. He got his shine.
Yeah, people
And we
listen.
just realized
I don't
that
think he
he's
gets the
not
shine that he
good.
deserves.
But I don't. Okay, hold on. I don't
say
think
that.
Big Sean will ever have the cultural impact that Kanye West has had.
Why was Kanye going at Big Sean like that? First,
He never went at Big Sean like that.
He did. He
was asked the
worst thing-
question.
Yeah.
He was like, "Well, Big Sean or
Pusha T?
Pusha T."
And then
he was like,
He talked about something different after that. He changed the whole question and he just wanted to blurt out that he said he don't fuck with Big Sean no more.
exactly the way
And
that you blurted that about Kanye out of nowhere,
Man, Kanye's
unprovoked.
Kanye would rather put down Big Sean than admit that simping for Trump was wrong. So
He wasn't.
That's a valid point, I would say.
You rather hold on. No. If I change your life, right? If I signed you, met your mom, gave you millions of dollars, change your entire life. You are Big Sean raps about this oftentimes. He says he's the breadwinner of his family. He's the first one to get out of poverty in his family. He changed his motherfucker's life. Now you're gonna go on the world stage and try to shit on me?
because he's running for president. Kanye West.
Are you just not comparing what I just said? I
understand.
Yo, he talks about how I'm different out of my family.
Okay.
That's what Big Sean often raps about.
Yeah.
And now you're gonna go on the stage, the person who helped change your fucking life. You're gonna shit on him like that? You don't want to
your family members sometimes do
Hey, bro, I'm not fuck what you
No,
doing.
he don't fuck with Kanye's politics. And you think about it this way:
So
you have
say that
family
in
members.
private.
No, with,
You say that in private.
If you're a
The
person
same
of
issue,
figure,
the same issue T.I. did with Lil Wayne when he came out at Lil Wayne
wait.
publicly. Fucked up his relationship.
you know,
with Lil
in
Wayne.
today's
you don't
world,
do that.
you know, in
that.
today's world, it is important to have your points clear and set. And he wanted to make sure that he does
That
not is
everybody
separate
knew.
from Kanye. Yeah.
Just say I fuck with Kanye.
And do you
Why?
think he still would have taken that opportunity from Kanye West if Kanye West was a loud and proud Trump supporter back in the day? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you are someone who does not respect Trump and you are not living your best rapper life, and some guy who is a huge supporter of Trump is like, "Let me change your life," are you taking that from him? No,
Yeah.
Kanye that we know from 2020 and 2016
No.
onwards is not the same Kanye
I
that
feel-
everyone
the system.
knew and loved
It's
10
weird.
and 15
It's weird
years
how
ago.
it's weird how politics are enough to change someone, how to fuck with someone, but religion isn't. Because we all have different religion, but we're still able to come together compatibly.
I think it's because religion is able to coexist, whereas everyone sees politics as like a butting of heads.
Exactly. So why we don't have the same ideology with the same way we have with religion with politics?
Big Sean
Because
does.
religions are
Religion has started a lot of
You're
crazy
absolutely
crimes
correct. You're absolutely
and
correct.
and murder.
Segregation.
But at the end of the day, I
but
would say
why can't we do that with politics?
because a lot of religions, like the basis of it is like egalitarian society, where it's like, oh, love other people the way you want to be loved. Like that is basically like the groundworks of like all religions. Politics is like so different. It's like the rich deserve to not pay taxes. Poor people deserve to die. Like
I'm trying to
the
even imagine.
polarization.
That's kind of
I'm
polarizing.
trying to
I don't know
imagine
if it's
like all of us having
Like,
different political
legitimately,
views.
the polarization of politics is like a very
We all do
real
have
and very
different
valid
Yeah, that's
thing.
true. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's definitely plausible for friends to have different political views.
You know that if
and
If Big Sean never said
what
anything,
extreme, I
people
don't
are
know.
going to assume that Big Sean fucks with Kanye's rhetoric. He had to put his public stance out.
No.
Because
Don't
him and especially
automatically
John
assume.
Legend, both Big Sean and John Legend are been openly involved in activism, in politics, whether it's giving back to their communities or just being on like different. I've seen them in several concerts. Directly funded by the Democrat Party, and I think like they just wanted to have their points clear and concise because they have to represent themselves. Their loyalty does not go beyond politics.
Now, so I'm a loyalty guy, right? So I look at it like this, right? You ever went to You ever had all right, let me say this one more
Look
time.
at these analogies.
No, it's not analogy, it's reality though.
Okay, listen.
It's like there's a saying, it's like, yo, I'm with you right or wrong. But like, say if you get into a fight, your homeboy does something, you riding with your homeboy, and then you're gonna scold him after. Like, what the fuck you doing? That's how you're supposed to look at it. So if I'm going, I might not fuck with everything my homeboy does, but that's my guy.
You think
at the end of the day.
You think Big
That's
Sean's
my
going
guy.
to
Even
get?
if he does something I don't like, I'm gonna say, hey, bro, I'm not rocking with that. But that's still not enough for me to sever ties.
I think that like mentality, that like ride or die, like I have to be there for my people because they're my people no matter what, that is so problematic. Like, where is the accountability in that?
But
if you don't call out your friends and your people for toxic traits, for endorsing things that are harmful and
I just said that, though.
terrible things, like
I just said that.
I think what he's trying to say is like, yes, you can definitely let them know that they're wrong, but not publicly or not in that specific time. You know what I mean? Like what you're doing is wrong. However, I'll let you know when we get back home. Like, you know, so not so public humiliation, I think, is what we're trying to like.
I'm gonna stand with you right or wrong, but I also want to let you know when you're wrong.
Yes, but like, to what extent
depends.
do you cut somebody off? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it depends.
if it's something like, oh my God, my best friend is a Trump supporter, like,
Yeah, that's not enough for me to cut my friend off. Then then what do I deem that friendship the whole time? Like, how serious was that friendship the whole time if it was able to cut it off because of a political view?
that's fair, but that would be like if me and Katie were like best friends forever, and then all of a sudden one day she was like, yeah, I just don't think people, I'm trying to think of like something niche that would be like,
Suck. I don't know.
like if you just said like, yeah, like I just don't think people who are like you deserve the same amount of rights that other people do. I would literally look at her and be like,
Yeah, you gotta go.
there's been some fundamentally like huge differences between us this entire time.
I guess it
and
depends
it's
on
only
what
coming
your
to light
political
now.
views are specific. For me personally, it depends on what your views are.
Everyone has their own values too.
Yeah, and what? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you usually
Values.
click up with people who have similar values to you.
Yeah, and then maybe they.
And then as you grow, people some adjust, but kind of the values still kind of remain consistent somewhat.
But that doesn't seem like it's a. That seems probably in Big Sean's perspective.
Well, like I
that's a
said,
huge jump.
But like I wanted to mention before, as an artist or as people in the limelight, your image is everything.
Yeah,
so you
exactly.
shit on your person that changed your whole life because you want to be able
You're
to
seeing it that way. It's him.
But then-
for Big Sean, it's just making it clear that he
An
doesn't
image.
rock with that politics. Yeah, because he has his own image.
And because he needs to make money off his image. So if his image is like, yo, I got to be with the Democrats, and then anything that has to
it's
do with
not.
it.
See, why are you assuming it's just about money? Why isn't it just about?
It's
values?
all about money.
It's not always about
Yes,
money.
it is.
No,
This
it's sometimes it's values.
It's,
You don't
it's
think-
all
Values,
about
morals.
money. It's all about money.
So what about Kanye? Is that all for the money too?
He's, like in the interview, he said he's living free. He doesn't have a fucking house. He's living free. He doesn't care about all of that stuff. He's a
I think like
God-fearing
the
man
Trump,
That.
like the Trump America, like really made people get in touch with their like morals and their moral high ground, because like you had celebs like Taylor Swift. I'm a Swiftie, so but like Taylor Swift spoke out and was like, I'm a Democrat. Everyone expected Taylor Swift to be a Republican, but like the times were so polarizing that she felt like she had to speak out. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it wasn't about the money anymore. It's about morality
Views,
and like being
yeah.
like, I am not okay with Republicans saying, yeah, like I don't want to fund Planned Parenthood. I don't want to fund Pride people. I endorse conversion therapy, like things that we know are harmful, things that we know
That's wild.
damage people and kill people. Really, like I do think that the polarization of like the Trump America versus like the rest of America was like very valid and like all good reasons to cut people off and be like, yeah, I don't fuck with you anymore. I can't.
Yeah, and if Big Sean never said anything, people would be coming for him too. Like, why are you condoning this? Why are like people not speaking up on their values will allow people to make.
Hold on, I don't think
Decision?
were people coming at Kim Kardashian the same way they would come at
No, because Kim was actually being very active within the social justice in terms of.
Kim and all her sisters were very about the Democratic Party. Like, I voted wearing blue to the polls. Like, they were very.
So the thing
very
is, the
about
difference
it.
is they were in like this is what side I rock on. They weren't shitting on Kanye not once.
Definitely not.
Oh, you're
because-
saying
But
them
the
like
fact-
specifically.
I'm saying,
Oh,
so the
okay.
fact that you could do, if you're able to put your 10 toes down and go like, yo, I'm rocking on this side without shitting on the next man, then I can respect that more than you have to denounce someone else's behavior and then try to separate that from you.
Fair
Especially
enough.
if that's someone that you rock with. You know what I mean?
But they're
For
like,
years.
you also have to take in that they are a wealthy white family, and they're like really proving to you that it does not matter who in their circle is aligned with which politics, because at the end of the day, they're rich. They can.
It doesn't affect them.
It does not
Sean's
affect them
rich,
at
no?
all. Big Sean is rich, but like you said, like he is not coming from the same situation that the Kardashians are coming from. He is not a part of a dynasty the way that Kanye West is,
Stop
and
it,
his
stop it.
wealth.
They're new money.
His wealth is.
Kardashians are new money. Stop
No,
it.
You know they
Stop
have
it. They're
stupid
new
money.
Robert
They're new money. They're new money.
Kardashian. Robert Kardashian is wealthy. The Jenners are wealthy. Like they are
Hold
wealthy
on, Jenner?
people.
That guy was. He run an Olympic thing.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
He
That's
was-
new money. That's new money.
He was wealthy.
That's
And
new money.
I wish I
Robert
had new money,
Kardashian
like,
was
new
a very
money,
wealthy
money.
lawyer. Like, do you know what I mean? And like,
Yeah, a lawyer. His profession made him money. He's still new money, man.
and like also like Kanye's wealth is like not comparable to Big Sean's wealth.
And
He's
actually,
a whole billionaire. with
Kanye West
multiple
is
business.
the richest.
just to quickly
black
go
man in
through some of
America.
the other points that was said into interview on that topic, he did talk about how he did a group chat. He put like Jay-Z, Drake, Kim Kardashian, Pusha T, can't remember a few of the other people, but he wrote in the group chat, "I am richer than all of you guys combined." That's just a random thing, and then he was just going on.
I like it.
Like, you know how petty you have to be to do some shit like that?
I like it.
Imagine getting a notification. Like,
I like it.
Yeah, imagine being Drake and just getting like.
I
like
like
for why?
it. I like it.
So unprovoked. Like,
You put them all in the group. But he also said in the interview, group chat's my thing.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing it. We're getting everyone in the group chat. We're talking. I respect
so
it.
stupid.
I respect it.
It's a no for me.
And then I guess some of the other notable things, I guess the biggest questions that they were asking was the relationship with Drake. Actually, well, quickly before we talk about Drake, they were talking about Soulja Boy. And I'm bringing that up because we were talking about the Donda album and leaving Soulja Boy out of the album.
Yeah.
Now, Kanye
Heard
West...
that verse though?
That's exactly. So Kanye, for context, Kanye was talking about like Soulja Boy is one of the most influential artists of our generation or decade, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And then they're just like the interview was like, why did you leave? Was Soulja Boy's verse really good?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, but, and then it just went on about.
Say no. What? I say this.
I'll say this, yeah, no. And then did you see Soulja Boy's response?
His Twitter rant was like very entertaining. I was sending
the thing
all
is,
of the
he
tweets to my
called-
boyfriend. I
but
was like,
the
look
thing
at this.
But when he got left off the album, he went at Kanye. He was like, what do you call? This is how I know he probably really did leave him off and did all that. He called whenever someone's mad at someone, I kind of know they did something.
Yeah.
Because he called fuck nigga, and I was like, yeah, he probably did. He probably did leave him off the album, bro.
Yeah, but Soulja Boy went on like a Twitch stream. I didn't know he's a Twitcher now. Like,
Yeah, he's a Twitcher.
Yeah, so he was going on. He was screaming. He was like, man, fuck Kanye. Everything I put out of my mouth is hard. And then he just kept going and going. It was so funny.
Mad. So was Chris Brown was mad when he got left off the album.
Yeah.
too. And then he got left off the album again.
Period. As he should.
Anyways, so and then the final comments, the notable comments were about Drake. The first question was asked about who would win in a versus battle.
Kanye.
I'm sorry. I'm not a Kanye fan, but I think Kanye would win in a versus.
Also, Kanye said, "I'll go against whoever, producer, rapper, writer." Well, not
Really
right.
trying to- I don't-
Debatable. He was talking about that, and
Sure.
he was talking about.
You think Kanye?
Old Kanye, new Kanye.
He was talking about
That's all he'd have to play.
Drake and Kim Kardashian. They were talking about how like
He alludes to like he smashed Kim, but
Kim.
Kim was telling him was like, "Yo, he never fucked. You never touched me."
and then it was the fact that apparently, according to Kanye, that Drake was DMing every Jenner, everyone in the family.
He'll
Just
play, he think he said he'll play like. war
hold on,
games
wait,
or
hold on.
something
He
like that.
compared Drake to Hitler, by the way.
Yeah,
that was
he was like, because he won't come at
That
you
feels
directly.
inspiring.
He'll go at the
How?
people around you.
Like-
He'll DM your girl, your girlfriend's friend. He'll get out, all that.
He'll
other
find
stuff.
a way?
He'll park he'll buy a house 3 streets down from yours or something like that. Drake is like a demon.
You know,
Oh, man.
I could see it.
Especially
see
the
Drake doing
buying
that
the
type of shit.
houses.
Yeah.
Nah, that's crazy.
And then
All
But
right.
like, what do you have to say about men alluding to saying that they smashed women, but they didn't?
I think
Lying on
that
their
definitely
penis.
ties into like what you were saying before, like the biblical standards of like what makes a man a man. I think that's literally just ego play. Do you know what I mean? It's definitely irritating, like being the butt end of that, where people are like, "Oh yeah, I did this, and this with her," and you're just like, "No, you didn't."
Why are you
It's-
lying?
Yeah, it's weird.
It's weird to flex that.
Weird.
Weird flex, but okay.
Anyway, switching the transition from Kanye to another member of, formerly Good Music is Travis Scott.
He was signed as
Well-
for production.
Yeah. Kanye
He
actually.
actually signed to what's it called? T.I. stamp. He's
Travis?
signed to T.I. Travis, as an artist, signed to T.I. A lot of people don't know that.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Anyways, we'll talk about Travis Scott because Travis Scott did the whole Astroworld thing. It's like a huge festival in Houston.
Yeah.
And it's a celebration of his work, his contributions to Houston, and he brings out a lot of guests, kind of like their version of OVO Fest. The thing about Travis Scott is he's well known for his
The
raves and people jumping around the
Mosh
circle,
pits.
mosh pits,
Yeah.
wild concerts. I did see Travis Scott live once. In terms of energy, he is very energetic. But as we've seen in the past few days now, there's a downside to all of this, the lack of accountability. It's resulted in, I believe, 8 deaths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on the whole situation? Is Travis Scott responsible? What does this mean for crowd goers or concert goers for the future? Like, because people, the headlines was somebody was injecting needles into.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah,
that.
I heard that too, and I
I
was
don't know
like,
if that's
what?
fake news or anything,
Yeah.
but like,
Yeah.
I don't know
I'm
about
waiting
that
for
one.
I'm waiting for more time to go by so I can
More
get
information?
an accurate picture of what actually went on, because I'm hearing people injecting people. Like, I don't know if that someone just threw that out on the internet or maybe a person was there and just saw something.
Yeah.
But also I saw the
people are doing
videos of people
drugs,
getting
like
trampling on.
Yeah,
like,
see that
yes.
that is believable. There was too many people there.
Yeah.
Way too
Like,
many.
way too
people
many
were
people
jumping the fence and like crashing through the barricades. I don't know if any of you guys have been to any of those type of festivals. I've been once, and it's dangerous. People are pushing,
Yeah, they
Wait,
do
like a
not-
10-year-old was there, or like
Yeah.
Was it a 10 or a 9-year-old?
well, that's irresponsible of the parent. I don't know why a 10-year-old was there.
Yeah, no, I
Exact-
agree.
A place like that, you have to be at least like 5'10" to be going to those type of concerts because it's like
I feel
it's-
discriminated
so-
against.
Well,
5'10".
No, it's actually
I thought you meant age.
Oh no! I thought you meant age too. No, but it's actually really, really stressful. And not even going to a Travis Scott concert. Like when I went to a different concert, my friend literally had to get pulled out because like she was being trampled over. Like it was really, really bad. And to say this concert was even worse. So I don't even know.
people are literally, and I've seen it. People
Yeah.
are like charging into each
Yeah.
other, like bulldozing each other, and it's crazy. People are swinging for no reason. People are falling back. You have to fend for yourself. It's dangerous. And then on top of that, again, the allegations about the needle thing, that makes it even more dangerous.
But like even there was even a girl who managed to get on stage or close.
Yes,
to
so
stage.
that was
Did you see her Instagram thing?
So that's a huge part of the story and
Yeah.
why people are going at Travis, because he had a perfect view of the whole situation. And apparently, again, I need to see more videos just like you guys of like people apparently saying, stop the show, because people are fainting here, left, right, and center.
Yeah, I also
people,
saw that like 11 people had heart attacks.
yeah.
That's
like-
crazy. And people, and that's why that girl and the guy went viral, because they were trying to catch the attention of the staff, and the staff wasn't doing shit.
yeah.
Was that the one where like they like hopped on the parapet where like the photographer was and they
Yeah,
were like,
that's the
someone
one.
is dead in the crowd?
Yeah.
That video
didn't
was
care, and then the other
haunting.
person, yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah. I also saw that it was like incredibly understaffed. There were only like 3 or 4 paramedics, 1 stretcher, 1 AED machine. So like whoever managed the production of that was like very
Well, people
irresponsible.
say-
That's why they got insurance too.
Well, see, that's the thing is, okay, so from I was doing some research, and they were talking about how like Travis is basically responsible for all of this, because first he has to have like permissions from the government, and they have to have like parameters of like the limits, and obviously the limits of people were fucked because
like, clearly any and
people were
everybody were
running
allowed to
in.
go in.
The security was crazy. There was a viral video of people like rush of like kids running in, and they only had like 3 policemen trying to stop, and the best they could do was just kind of like step here,
Yeah, because-
step that.
Or
But
else
check this
you're
out.
able to
Check
get
this out.
toppled over too.
I would like to compare it to like a riot. Like when a riot's happening, how many police officers do you really need to like really contain that? You need like
There,
drones.
yeah.
So you tell me like there's thousands of people coming in.
Tens of thousands, like
We don't need
50,000
Rinky
people.
dinky.
Even if they had adequate security, you still would be understaffed.
Yeah.
You can't.
The thing
stop
is, I don't
something
know.
like
Like, can you really blame Travis Scott though?
I
Like
saw
in
on the
terms
news
of
this morning that in 2015 at Lollapalooza he was charged for encouraging the crowd to rush towards the stage.
Like
So
inciting
there is a
riot or something
precedent
like that.
of Travis Scott and other artists.
I was about to say then we need
It's
to
a
look at
culture.
all
That sort
the
of
exactly
thing.
because it is like mosh pits. Like what the hell, bro? But it's a part of the culture. Like in terms of going to some of these concerts.
Well, now people are having conversations to question that culture now, because of the fact of the danger, and people are
because
starting
people
to.
literally died.
Yeah.
People are questioning the safety to go see their favorite artists.
To be honest, I always thought mosh pits were kind of wild because I was like, man, if I ever go into a mosh pit, you could just break a nose. You could like
Yeah, no, it's actually.
I heard
bad.
like a lot of people get like their earrings ripped out, like
Yeah.
piercings. Like that's disgusting.
Yeah.
And like, let's be honest, a lot of these people, like the people who participate in these mosh pits, from my experience as well, just witnessing, it's a lot of like white teenagers, and the reason for them participating in those type of stuff is they're on drugs, and they want that like freedom to like wild out. And
So
they're
go to
like,
Burning Man.
Go to where?
Burning Man. Burning Man. Never mind.
Burning Man.
Never mind. Never mind.
Anyways, no, but it is a culture, and it's like I guess people need to rethink about what the concert experience should be. Like I guess for me, I like sitting down or having those like assigned seats. I feel
like going to arenas.
Yeah.
You a different type of man, Jeff.
Yeah, I don't mind the standing up and looking at the like checking out the concerts and like dancing, having a good time. But like it becomes crazy when people start to not act like they have sense. And then more times it's all these guys as well, because like females do it, but more times it's all these taller, bigger men who are just dashing people left, right, and then it just stirs up the pot. Like it just gets crazy.
Yeah, they're going back. Like
Yeah, and you're absolutely correct with the whole drugs thing. Oftentimes with these type of festivals.
Everyone's on
People are-
Molly.
Yeah,
Molly.
everyone is
Yeah.
popping the madness. So
To be honest, when you go to a concert, a lot of people are drinking, doing drugs. And
yeah,
coming
it's
high,
crazy.
You know,
But then it's like, you can't stop that.
even if you go to, I remember going to a lot of these shows. Even when I went to the Mod Club, the Phoenix. What's that next one? The Downforth. Like people be in there just smoking some stuff, like drinking, already high off a pill, a bean or some whatever. It's part of the culture.
Yeah, that's what's like, can't stop it.
You don't feel the music the same when you're sober.
I'm
Is it
telling
good
you,
music then?
it sounds fine sober.
So are you guys
No, it
going?
doesn't.
Are you
It
guys
does.
going to any festivals anytime soon now after that?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I always wanted to go to one of them UK like wireless festivals or.
See, now UK, you're gonna be.
I know, that's
drugs
another
you've never
level.
heard before. you
don't
want
do
this, mate?
drugs, kids. Don't do it.
Nah.
That's the lesson for this.
Anyways, yeah. So hopefully
right.
everything's okay with the people, and hopefully we can have more conversations on how to make it more safe for people to go.
Now,
We got to talk. Next topic is we got to talk about Debby.
yeah,
So let's break
Debbie
it down.
passed away.
Rest in peace, Debby.
Debbie passed away this past week.
Yeah, a lot of people are blaming Six Buzz.
So let's explain who Debby is, and then we can go from like why this is a real tragedy.
I mean,
sorry.
who is that? Who was Debbie?
People saw her as like this Toronto.
She was a meme. She was somebody who
like a joke, literally.
joke.
Yeah.
She was bad behavior.
Bad behavior.
I thought, to be honest, when I found out that she passed away, and I was like, all right, I was like, oh wow. And then before then, I was like, why is she always on the street? Like, why she has no home? Like, why are her parents allowing her to do this? Like, she was a badass kid.
Yeah.
Cause I was like, yo, wherever you go to like Young and Dundas, she's just always there. I've never seen her before personally.
Yeah, I was up to see me too.
But I was like, damn, why are we promoting this badass kid, yo? But come to find out, she passed away because she was going through the foster system, and she got booted out because she turned 18 and then she was homeless after that, right?
Yeah,
and so she's kind of just trying to survive.
Yeah. Oh, was it overdose? Like, is that?
Yeah, off fentanyl.
I think it was an overdose. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it really is sad because like basically a big chunk of her life was people just mocking her, and like obviously there was some things that she said were problematic, but clearly she needed help. There were the resources. The big question is, where was her family at this whole time?
Wait, she was in foster home.
Yeah, I was about to say
Sure.
she didn't have
That's her
a
family.
family. Yeah.
She didn't have one.
So what does this say about, like you mentioned Six Buzz? Do you really truly find them responsible for all this, or?
Responsible for what?
For like, they're saying that Six Buzz is responsible for the death in terms of just like
people already hate
posting.
Six Buzz, so
Like, I find it two ways. Like, yeah, okay, they definitely should not be posting too much like negative content and like exploiting her, whatever the
there's
case
mad
is.
people exploiting
but at
her,
the same
but like
time,
they don't like Six Buzz. Well, like this is not a Six Buzz conversation, but mad people were exploiting Debbie.
like I wouldn't blame. I wouldn't say, Six Buzz is the cause of her death. You know what I mean?
I think one of the most recent big exploitations of Debby in the past, I guess, month or so was, I believe, the Nelk Boys, a YouTube channel that does like pranks and
So no
stuff.
one's gonna talk about the Nelk Boys.
Yeah, exactly. Because there was a skit. It was to be honest,
Oh, you're saying because people hate
quite frankly, not really funny skit. They kind of told her to really act like herself in front of a certain character on the Nelk team, just mimicking and mocking her character, and that just kind of represents a lot of the content that was created around her, you know. And one of the few wholesome moments was that interview that we were sharing between us, where that person was asking her a little bit more about her and her story. And I feel like we should try to know her story so that we can prevent another situation like that.
To be honest, we didn't know her story because it wasn't ever out there. Like, she probably didn't want to put it out there. Like, anybody want to say, like, man, I'm going through the foster system.
Yeah.
Man, I'm down
true.
bad right now. Like, you don't really say that. That's not cool.
But also that like unspoken culture of like seeing people who are like presumably homeless, people who are presumably on drugs and like who are tripping out in public or whatever, and seeing them as like something to like make fun of or be like, oh my God, like
But,
this
like,
is scary.
But
like,
the thing is,
that kind of thing.
how many people were how many people prior to her death knew that she was taking the crazy amount of drugs and she was homeless?
I'm sure bare people.
Bare people?
I'm sure bare people.
I'm pretty
If
sure. I
someone
want to
sees
say
a young girl who was consistently outside and she's like outside enough where people are like, it's a meme. Like if you go outside in a certain area.
There's mad badass
I never
kids that are just
really
outside,
kept up
hopped
with
off
her,
the
to be
porch and
honest.
just in the streets, man.
I mean, compared to like what everybody was saying in the comments and like the reactions that the videos were getting, it seemed like a lot of people knew that she was on drugs. And then I'm here thinking like, okay, you guys knew all these things, and now all of a sudden she's dead, and now the uproar is coming.
You know, I'm gonna be honest. I think somebody who was, I believe, silent, and correct me if I'm wrong, in all of this is unfortunately Drake. And the reason I'm bringing him up.
What?
No, was he?
You want him to like?
No. Explain why. No.
Oh, you're saying in like
No.
Toronto
Let me
culture?
explain. So, no, seriously. Debby did have an interaction. I believe she was kind of. She was outside Drake's mansion and she was saying some things. I don't remember exactly what was
I didn't see
said.
that.
Yeah, and she was like kind of harassing the security guard as well, from what I've heard. And Drake actually directly referenced her on his story, saying Debby. I can't remember exactly what was said, but he was kind of direct.
Or like on a track?
On his story,
Oh,
he
on the
added
story,
Debby,
sorry,
and
yeah,
he
yeah.
was talking like, "You don't come here," and all that type of stuff. And
Don't come to the embassy, man.
I just think that like if he's somebody who claims to be somebody who speaks up for the community of Toronto, this is a big story within the community, and
What's
it
he
was
supposed to say?
well, just at least the condolences. He didn't express that. He knows she exists.
I mean,
That's fair.
you
No,
say-
that's fair.
I mean, not everyone that dies, you gotta say R.I.P.
I get it, but this is obviously a big story.
Just
This
don't
is
fuck with everybody.
this is a big story, and it's a tragedy that could have been prevented.
And I think it's like definitely a bigger story because people are definitely feeling that guilt of like making fun of her for all these years and like making fun of like her being in distress all the time and like not taking that distress seriously. Like people are like, oh wow, like addiction's a real thing. Homelessness is a real thing. Like people do die from
I find
these
it
things.
tough that everyone was able to monetize off her except for her. That was kind of tough. Like I seen mad
That
people get
part.
put in skits and all that, and I'm like,
Yeah.
damn. Didn't you
a
break her off no
very
money
good
or nothing like
point.
that?
And it's definitely important to know
Well, I don't
that
know.
she's a young
I don't know
woman.
that to be true, but
Yeah,
She's
that's
down
a
bad.
whole different even conversation. But yeah, 100%.
But again, like these type of conversation, this type of story brings up the conversation of mental health, and it's obviously a very important topic for everybody. But because this is November in significance, this is a month dedicated for men's mental health, obviously called Movember. First of all, this is my attempt at growing a mustache.
I love it.
As an Asian man, this is all I can do.
Did you have that for months though?
No, I did. Listen.
Well, first of all, he just started growing it. Second of all,
Listen, I did try.
You don't wake up with a 5 o'clock shadow.
Yo, I was like, haven't he been looking like...
Lately I've been like kind of cleaning it up. Like I don't know what to do.
Lately,
because-
yo, we gotta pull
Listen.
back last week's episode.
Wait,
I
hold
seen
on.
that. Oh, let me before that.
Let me explain. The reason I want to have some facial hair so I can look like an adult, because some people still think I'm like 16 without.
And what's
any
wrong
facial-
with that?
I do not want to be mistaken as a kid.
yeah, but do you know how humiliating it is when you walk into LCBO and they're like, yeah, no ID, just go.
And you only 21? Yeah, you go.
My eye was twitching. I was like, don't you want to see my ID? Like, do I look old to you?
That's tough.
So like, how are you guys taking care of your mental health as men? Talk to us.
Well,
I don't know.
I think, well, first of all, I wanted.
I don't know.
No, it's a good
I wanted
conversation to have.
I think there are definitely some specific topics to men that need to be talked about, and I thought like I'd maybe share a little bit of my story. There's obviously, I don't need to go into too many details, but the gist of it is kind of like relates to some of the big topics within men's mental health that need to be talked about.
Let's talk about it, Jeff.
So for me, I grew up. Something about me is I've always been. What's the word? I analyze myself a lot, and I've grown up to be hard on myself. I have high expectations. Part of that being a son of an immigrant, but something like the extent of how hard I was on myself was, I guess, in reflection, really, really crazy. So almost my entire life, every single night, I used to go over my day and talk about how shitty of a person I was, how much I hated myself. I would replay a certain situation or a certain interaction with somebody, and I'd be like, why didn't I do this? Or why didn't I do that? Or why am I such a fuck up? And I would have these constant negative thoughts. And I thought that was healthy because of two things. Number one, of my upbringing, me being the only person of color in a predominantly white town. My logic was actually to bully myself harder than everyone else would bully me. So that
I feel like that's such an Asian thing to do too. Like,
yeah, I would bully myself so that, and truth be told, it kind of worked because nothing anyone said really hurt me because I would rip myself harder even more.
That's the Eminem thing to do.
Yeah, and then on top of that, it's just my high expectations. I try every single day to be a good person and be able to achieve my goals. And when I don't feel like I'm making the right steps, I rip myself apart. And there was a breaking point in my life that changed it, and it led me to a huge sense of depression. And the reason why it was really hard for me was because I didn't know that the root of the way I was acting was something that happened 10 years ago. And it was when my father passed away from cancer. And when my father passed away from cancer, obviously there's expectations as a man, you know, that, hey, everyone coming to me like, hey, you gotta take care of your mother, especially your mother who barely knows English herself, because my father was the one who knew English and she was the one taking care of my mother, and my mother was screwed because she barely knew any English. So there was that expectations, and on top of that, remembering my dad's last words, like make me proud because he sacrificed so much coming to this country, and you have to be successful and happy because that's what he sacrificed. So having that, I didn't realize how much that affected me. Those expectations. I was somebody who was always giving. I was always somebody who was helping my family. And truth be told, helping other people through situations. I've had people come to me in really depressed states, and I don't even know if it's fortunate or unfortunate. I would say fortunate at the end sense of things because they turned out to be okay, but they came to me to talk about some of the darkest moments of their life. And I was always giving, not knowing that I was going through the same things. And I never talked about what I was going through because, again, I didn't want to seem weak, and I feel like I was having that immigrant mentality. They had a tougher life, and all the struggles that I had to go through were not that serious. And 10 years later, I had a breaking point, and actually, to be honest, two of the people I called, and I realized I knew I had to talk. I finally knew I had to talk and air things out. You guys were two of the people I did talk to. I remember calling, and I was messed. Like, there was a month where I was crying every day. I was not eating for a whole damn month. I remember times where I was in the car, I'm like, why don't I just steer? Like, I was at a point where, again, trigger warning, but where I was suicidal. Because I just thought, like, the expectations I had, I kept thinking I was never going to reach it. I was going to fail my family. But having conversations with people, talking about it, and realizing, like, yeah, you can still be critical of yourself and still want the best for yourself, but also to kind of relax. You don't have to rip yourself apart every day. That's what I learned, and I'm glad. I wouldn't wish the pain of a mental breakdown on anybody, but for me, that was necessary because it helped me grow to the person I am today. So,
thank you for sharing.
No facts.
Yeah.
So I guess how did you get yourself together in a sense where you were able to actually talk to people? Because like you mentioned, you did call us and like you were talking to us about it, but like what was the breaking point for you to actually get up and literally talk to somebody? Because for a lot of people who are going through different things in their life, different challenges, it's really hard for them to like talk to their friends, families, or just strangers in general. So like what were some of the things that kind of made you decide, okay, I'm gonna talk to somebody?
The biggest thing is understanding your purpose. The question I asked myself was, why am I alive? Why am I doing all this? Why are we all doing this? Why are we grinding? Why are we going through adversity and all these type of things? And for that little blank, like usually I'm a man of logic. I've always had a plan. I've always been cohesive, at least I thought. And then that moment, and that's the thing I can say about mental breakdowns. Like all the things that you had in your head about logic, and even no matter how well you thought you were prepared, when you're in the middle of a mental breakdown, all that goes away. You forget about everything, about who you are and what it means to be you. And I had to really zone in. I had to think like, why am I doing all this? Like, and then I really defined several things for me. Number one was to make my family proud. I was not gonna make my father's sacrifice a waste. I was going to hopefully one day put my mom out into a better situation where she doesn't have to grind 2 jobs to support a family. Number two, love. I honestly believe in love. One of the things that I strive for every day is to find love, build a family, and live happily ever after. I wanted that from the beginning to now, and I'm now more focused than ever to pursue that because love drives me. And then number 3 was, truth be told, like trying to do whatever I can to make the world a better place. It's, obviously there's a lot of tragic stories that go on in this world, and obviously sometimes it feels like the actions that you take are not going to do anything, but I'm gonna every single day I'm gonna try and strive for that, to make the world a better place, even if it's tiny. And those are the goals that I laid out for myself, and that's why I'm alive today.
So what about men's mental health specifically do you think needs to change in order for like more men to feel empowered about talking about mental health?
Well, you just said it. Talk about it. Just be real with it. Like, honestly, it doesn't make you less of a man to just talk about it. Like, honestly, like, I believed in the idea of just being the strong person, the strong man who, always put others over myself. And although you can still be that compassionate person, the supportive person, you also gotta look out for yourself too. And I now know that that's just as important as helping others. So
it's true. It sucks, but like we live in a society where it's deemed for like men to like uphold themselves in a certain manner, whereas like women it's okay for us to be emotional and it's okay for us to cry. Whereas for men, like you have to like deep everything that you've been going through and just suck it up and kind of just be a man and just kind of go through life. So I guess question for you, what are your thoughts on like just men and why is it so important to talk about men's mental health?
My thoughts on men?
Men and mental health.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I know you were like, I know she didn't just ask me that. My fault. What are your thoughts on men's mental health? Like, why is it important to talk about mental health, but more specifically, men's mental health?
Just to piggy off what Jeff was saying. He said a lot, and he said a lot of good things. But I think I remember growing up, there was like a study saying that men die faster or earlier than women because they hold in a lot of pent up things and they don't express those things.
Anger, yeah.
And they kind of they catch up to them in their later years, as to where women, they're able to express and talk about what they feeling going on. So I say that to say this: mental health is more things. You're able to talk about it, you're able to prevent a lot of those things from, I guess, creeping up on you and you feeling like you might have like a chip on your shoulder, a hunch on your back. You just gotta expel those, certain things, the certain darknesses in your mind,
It's true, but it's easier. It's also easier said than done in regards to like just telling people like, oh, you should definitely go and talk to someone about your issues and your problems. So what's, I guess, a piece of advice that y'all have for young like boys growing up and thinking, you know, they need to always man up?
I don't know.
What's your advice?
Rod Wave, man. I listen to Rod Wave. I listen to Rod Wave.
Is that healthy?
Yeah, because he's expressing himself, and I'm like, yeah, I get it. But I don't know. I have to be honest, as someone, I'm not. I don't know. I don't have the answers. I think most people probably redirect you to, you know, speak to like a peer, a parent, or someone that's able to listen to you. Like, you know, there's a whole bunch of like platforms and things that, you know, you could go to like, for mental health. Mm-hmm. You have people out there in the media sphere like Charlemagne and Soulja Boy, and always talking about mental health, and always like you got to check yourself or check the mental health. So I mean, there's a lot of options, but I just don't know what to tell you because I feel like it might be different for everybody.
I want to piggyback on that. It's absolutely right. Find your own solution. I think the most important thing is you're aware that you're going through things. Yeah. Find your own solution. Like for me, for example, I tried calling a therapist like on the phone, and to be honest, for me, and I'm not going to discredit their profession, but for me, it was not it. Because number one, like when I was trying to talk to them, they were doing a lot of and then like at the end they'd be like, well, I'm sorry you're going through that, call us again. And I'm like, excuse me. So I think for me, my solution was talking to people who actually know me and can get that context. And then also, and to your point, music is a good outlet too. Like a lot. That's what makes music amazing. like people can build connections and stories through their music. And for me, that was the same thing. I had listened to some depressing ass music, the freaking the rain type music from the like rain, you know how you I'm such a dramatic kid. You know when you stare through the window, like when it was raining.
We've all done it.
like the 90s
you listen
music
to Usher,
video.
Let It Burn or something?
I can't even page you because guilty.
We all did.
And like definitely not to bring the conversation back to feminism, but like I think when people talk about the patriarchy and male-dominated society, they always think of like women as the victims. Men are also victim to the patriarchy in the fact that they have, like you said, men die earlier. Men have higher suicide rates. Like all of these like men's mental health issues are definitely stemming from toxic masculinity and this culture where men have to be inhumane basically to like not have feelings. I think we need to remember that we're all human, and I think our basis is to like love and be loved, and you can't do that if you don't think about your feelings and express them healthily.
Absolutely. Great conversations about mental health, and there are resources out there. If you do need help, you can find them. I'm sure we can probably share some resources through the Street Voices platform as well in light of this month.
Street Voices directory. I'm sure you can find some mental health services on there as well. So definitely check out our website, streetvoices.com.
And on the topic of men, we will revisit that conversation. We have one more topic to get to before we have that huge conversation. One of the biggest stories right now is Elon Musk, who is in the headlines today, this past week because of an interaction he had with the UN. So I believe, Twitter, I believe Elon Musk is very active on Twitter.
He is, truly.
And I believe that I don't know exactly his role, but let's just say he has a big role in the UN. They were talking about just the world crisis of world hunger and whatnot, and there was a back and forth interaction between the two. Can't remember exactly what was said, but the big viral tweet was Elon Musk responding saying, "Hey, if you have a plan to end world hunger right now, I will invest $6 billion and do it." And to be honest, Elon Musk can afford to do that. But he knows he's calling that bluff because, let's be honest, the U.S. is... sorry, not the U.S. Well, the U.S. too, but the UN is bullshit.
I think, the average person even know the plan how to end world hunger?
That's a good one.
I don't think there is if there was a formula...
I don't know if there is like a real game plan, because what is it like giving? Is it going to result to giving people a certain amount of money each month, each year? Is it going to be just giving away free food? Like, I really don't know.
People say, yo, Jeff Bezos got enough money to feed the world 10 times over. But like, hey, how?
He does.
How?
Don't lie, he does.
How?
Exactly.
Get free food.
Yeah.
It's probably going to take more money to figure out a plan than actually is.
No, facts.
You're going to pay a whole bunch of consultants to figure out a plan. That money's going to go to a whole bunch of consultants, and you're like, damn, I spent $1 trillion on trying to figure out how to feed 9 billion people. people.
And I think that's why he called out the UN though, because the UN did mention talking about basically rich people need to step up their game and help.
That's the big part.
Help, like, you know, those who are in need, whether that's hunger, homelessness, or whatever the case is. And I think that's why Elon Musk came and said, okay, bet. I'll give y'all $6 billion if you can figure out a game plan step by step, and then also let me know how you allocated the funds as well, right? So I do like that he did step up in a sense where it's like, yo, I'll give you the $6 billion, but figure out how you guys are going to allocate the $6 billion.
Well, here's the big thing about the UN. The reason why people don't trust the UN is there's a lot of corruption. Now, let's look at what the UN is supposed to be.
What is the UN for
So
the
the
people?
UN was created by Lester B. Pearson, a Canadian former prime minister, and the concept of the UN is
That's what the Pearson Airport is named after.
this guy.
Dickhead. Fucking dickhead.
Oh, I'm not.
I'm dead. You did not know that?
You know when
You
something
did?
just clicked?
Oh my god.
You did not know.
This guy did it?
Yeah,
He's the one who founded
won a
the
Nobel
United
Peace
Nations?
Prize for that. Yeah, he's
I actually
the,
didn't know that.
well, and the idea of peacekeepers as well.
Yeah.
The idea of peacekeepers. So
Yeah.
that's why the whole Canada peace stereotype, that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
Anyways, the concept of the UN is to be, quote unquote, the world's police in the sense of like, I think the biggest case was Rwanda. Obviously,
genocide?
Yeah, the genocide. And they're,
It's like a UN failure.
well, it is a UN failure, clearly. First of all, they didn't even prioritize
Hold on,
that.
how long has the UN been around?
I believe the
World-
60s.
End of
The
World
60s?
War.
I
World War
think it was
II.
like, one
hold
of
on,
the
they
world
even
wars.
let
First it was the League of Nations.
They let what's his name?
Yeah. And then
So
it
they
was
talking
the
about
UN.
Rwanda. Hold on, there's plenty of times they dropped the ball. There was what's his name? The dude.
Hitler?
No, not Hitler. The other dude from Belgium. He was the king of Belgium. He was the one that helped. Not helped. Well, he contributed to the homicide of over 2 million Congo people. Like, I forget
I
his
actually
name.
don't
though.
know that one.
Leopold II, the king of Belgium.
What year was this?
It was right after the World War.
After World War II?
It wasn't?
Was it really?
Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Hold on.
wait, what?
It was a
Fact check. What's the name?
Wait, we need the fact check. That is a whole different century, my guy.
I'm gonna
Not you telling him about his history.
I was like,
About his
But,
history.
like, you can't tell him about his history. Okay.
That's a whole different century.
So the UN.
I know, man. I'm wrong.
The UN
No, I'm
didn't-
wrong.
yeah.
yeah,
I'm
so
wrong.
basically after World War II, a bunch of nations got together and they said, look at these
Damn, it was in the
atrocities.
1800s? Fuck, yeah.
And World War II, for reference, was
Why do I feel
ended
like
in
it was just
1945.
Yes.
So
Yes.
a bunch of nations got together and they were like, look at the atrocities that our world has just come out of, specifically the Holocaust.
Yeah.
And they were like, let's make sure this never happens again. So their mandate was to establish world peace. And that didn't...
But some of the
That's
countries
how it
can use the whole vetoing thing, right? Like that's what the UN, if I'm not mistaken.
There was-
Yes.
And yeah, exactly. And they promoted this idea of peace scheme. There's this hilarious ad where there was like, of course, two foreigners arguing. And then they have the UN peacekeeper be like, stop. We are from the UN and you must stop right now. And then they just apparently stopped and fixed world peace, you know? And it's just kind of that message that they can police everything and they will make the world a better place. And
world is not a better place.
through history, it's been bullshit. Obviously, there has been statistics I was reading talking about how like the allocation of the funding, again, they do have the funding to, for example, reach that $6 billion, but a lot of it went to like administration, and all that type of
Yo,
shit.
you know what? Mark Zuckerberg, he donated New Jersey, I think like over $100 million.
Yes.
And then all that money went to like consulting fees.
Consulting fees. What is that exactly?
Bro, I want to be a consultant so bad.
I'm looking into it right now. What he's dealing with.
Man's get money for just consulting. Hey, we just come here,
And
let's
they're
talk. I'm gonna charge
So
you
I guess the
$1,000.
primary issue is like we know that there is money. It's just a matter of how the money is being handled.
Allocated. Yes. So there are many different like small solutions that could add up to the inevitable, but like for example, I know like a big problem that they were bringing up was food waste and how much food we waste in North America and the Western
Did you know
countries.
Canada's number one of like all of the first world countries in food waste? Like we don't have any laws like preventing grocery stores from like throwing
Yeah,
out
let's
things
say I
that are
believe
ugly.
it.
Blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
I did a whole journalism assignment on it. It's appalling how much food gets wasted in Canada and how many kids go to school hungry and stuff like that. Like I don't think there's like a one
What's
way.
the reason why can't we give? Is it like a legal thing?
It's literally a legal
literally
thing.
illegal.
Yeah.
Why can't we?
It has nothing to do
Like
with the
for
food
restaurants,
quality.
like you have to throw it out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
literally
it's
just
legal.
like a legal thing, and like there's like just no protection over it. Like exactly.
Working
Yeah.
in
Hold on,
restaurant too,
if-
I was confused. I was like, what do you mean? We have to
Yeah.
throw all of this out.
Even when I was volunteering at a homeless shelter, there was leftover food and they threw it out.
Wow.
Like they were not allowed or not mandated to give it to people to like take away. Like it was
Okay.
everything
that
is just
so what
like-
about restaurants? Are they not mandated to give it away either?
no,
No, they're,
nobody.
they're, I'm pretty sure there's laws in place that says you can't give it out. I don't know if it's
or
like
there's
just
like there's
laws,
just
or
no
if
way
it's,
to
like,
properly distribute it. I know like some grocery stores will have like a for sale of like ugly items or like things that are like damaged and they'll sell for like discounted prices. But a lot of stores like Walmart does not do that. They will just straight up throw it out.
Throw it out, yep.
Like the food is still fine. It just has like a scratch or it's like a little like.
For example, like even I think the biggest example that I've seen visually is the idea of bakeries, and like they throw things out because it's 1 day old, and that's crazy to me because that 1 day old bakery would be really good for a homeless person or a
Exactly.
person who needs it.
And like I think there's no like one formula to like solve world hunger. I don't think Elon Musk is going to get that because like solving world hunger is not the same in a country like Canada where food is just like expensive versus like a different country where there's a famine and there's like physically no way to grow food. I think it's going to be like very challenging to establish that formula. I think what the UN is probably going to end up doing is trying to
Spend all that money on consultants.
yes, but also like I think they're just going to like push a campaign basically saying that like food is a human right and that food and like
And that's what
Campaign
they're gonna take
marketing.
exactly
Marketing.
that's what's going to happen. They're going to be like food is fundamental. Food is a
Yeah.
human right.
They've
Like
been saying that though. The idea of food is a human right. Food insecurity.
Like we get it, we know.
We know
which is
that.
like really interesting because the UN Sustainable Development Goals are like hanging up like right there. I noticed that right away. I work in the nonprofit sector right now, so like the UN and all this shit is like embedded in my mind. And like as soon as I sat down, I was like, the Sustainable Development Goals they're following me. Yeah.
Yeah. The
so
solutions have to be like long term in terms of like rather than giving the checks or giving them the temporary food, it's investments in like places where it's hard for them to grow their own food, make it more accessible for them in some way. I don't know.
Make it affordable and like
Affordable.
freeze inflation on food because it's actually ridiculous that like fresh food is more expensive than like fast food. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's like so many like food inequalities that could
Yeah,
be
man.
solved with this money.
Oxtail's expensive.
So I'll be it really is. So yeah, I'm really curious to see how the UN comes up
Yeah.
with their solution.
It's going to be very interesting because then we have to look at all of the political leaders as well, right? Because they're the ones governing the countries and they're the ones pretty much going to be allocating the money into their countries. So I don't know.
Yeah, obviously there's not going to be a concrete solution to this. Big shout out to Elon Musk just for flexing and calling out the UN for their corruption.
We'll see how it actually goes down.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. And finally, what you all been waiting for, the big conversation.
Use the French word. Seeds out of your stones.
You speak
What is
French? Stop wanting to let you speak. Was that
What
right?
did you say? The pièce de résistance? Is that what you said?
I did.
Oh,
Okay.
I didn't even hear
I
you
got
say it.
Anyways, I'd like to set this up, and then we'll just have productive dialogue.
You're so mix up, it's ridiculous.
What do you mean? Mix
Just
up?
say the war between men and women. But I would like to
Is
set
there a
this
war?
up.
Let's set this up. Let me set this up, though. Obviously, and especially in today's generation, there has been a divide between men and women and how they view relationships between each other, how one acts versus the other, who's responsible in toxicity. So let's have conversations about that. Like, where do you want to start with this? You want to go?
I think
I'll
men
start
and
the
women are
conversation.
equal, and we're both contributing to our own demise. Let's go. Done.
Okay. Something that I
I
would like to say.
actually agree with that. No, you're so calm. It's ridiculous. Wow, I was not expecting that. Wow.
I definitely like earlier, like what I said earlier when we were talking about men's mental health. I think the patriarchy, which for people who don't know, is like a male-dominated society, and it's like undeniable that we do live in a patriarchy, no matter what country you go in.
And if you don't know,
Now
you're just
you know.
ignorant. Yeah, no
Like,
facts, but now you know.
Yeah, so we do live in a male-dominated society, meaning the people who make your decisions are men. The people who are leaders are men. The head of the household is considered a man. If you're religious, your church leaders are probably men. That's exactly what we're saying when we mean like the patriarchy. So like men have determined what is mainstream. Men determine what is attractive. Men determine basically everything.
Fundamentally, I think men built up the world, so they kind of put themselves in the positions that they built.
Did they put themselves in that position, or did they push women down so they were not able to be in that position? Do you know what I mean? Like you can't.
I
no.
think
Like
of both.
can I just
No,
say
I
love
I think I
I think what you said was 10 out of 10.
I love when
10 out of 10.
people bring up this conversation where they're like, men are responsible for inventing all of these things.
They
But
are.
what you need
Talk
to
your
fact,
truth,
but like, it's
sis.
like,
They are.
it's basically like saying white people are responsible for building up all these things too. But like, you need to literally look at it and be like, well,
what the white people build?
listen, for X amount of years, people who were not white were barred from these institutions
Because
where
they put
decisions
laws
were
in
being
place.
made.
But
Exactly.
there's a
But there were
difference.
laws
There's a
made that
difference.
prevented women as well.
Well-
Women were not legally recognized as human until about like 100, like less than 100 years ago.
They have to go through the whole suffrage movement and all that. I know about all that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm talking about the fact that the men built up society up until this point.
So men alone built up the society all by themselves?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
Bullshit.
I would like
Shut the hell up. I'm tired of hearing
I'm
you
giving
speak.
you answers. You don't want to hear them.
something that a lot of people like don't take in is like back in like our hunter-gatherer days, people love to like bring that up as like a really good justification for like
How women
male
were,
supremacy and all this shit. Men hunting only made up 9%, and this is at the most 9% of the overall diet. So men spent their entire lives learning how to hunt, learning how to fight animals, and it only made up 9% of the diet, whereas women were raising the children, they were hunting and gathering the other 90%
Making the clothes.
Of the
of the
diet?
food. So like you can't say that men built up society when it was women holding up men for this entire time. Do you know what I mean? Like if you think about like the food you eat, even if it's like even if you're eating out every single day, I promise you most of those workers are going to be women. You can't disregard everything that women have done just because you think what men have done is like better and like more
I never
important
disregard
to
it. I'm just
society. You did say that
They did though. I'm saying what it is. It's like
No.
men have done a lot of the structuring of what
Like
we
physically
But then you
building
also look at
society.
like how is it that men were the ones who put up, I guess, society in like buildings, if we're talking about that context, is because women weren't allowed to even get those jobs more often.
And like it's
No,
definitely
I'm not. Oh, you
I'm
still-
not
you-
disregarding
you-
what
you
men have
guys are-
done
you
for
guys are-
society. I'm
never.
saying
men established a lot of the civilizations, a lot of the laws, and not the laws, but other things too. But men have contributed to creating this society, this great society.
Because
that we live into.
oftentimes
is it a great
women
society
weren't-
though? Do you know what I mean? Like
Do you appreciate the society that you live in terms of like, I mean, there's other societies out there that are probably a lot less than what you're enjoying right now.
yes, definitely.
I think yes, you should be grateful, but at the same time, we also need
exactly.
to critique the
And like
society that we
also
live in.
like the things that
Discovered new worlds.
yes,
sound like
but
Christopher
also
Columbus.
I mean,
he did not discover no new world.
There's plenty of other people out there, but like, you know, Christopher.
See,
Columbus-
but you see the problem?
What?
You can't just
Also,
say there's
Christopher
plenty.
Columbus was a terrible explorer. Actually,
Yeah,
he was. To be honest, he was a terrible explorer. He wasn't good at his job. He wasn't. He wasn't.
What do you think? It was India?
He was.
Yeah.
He came to like North America looking for spices. He fucking idiot.
went back with sugar.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Dumbass looking for
Yeah.
spices.
You sound so angry.
He's not a good navigator. Like he's not a good explorer. Like literally, he was not good at his job. Like
Just
he
to like bring it back
so
to our
angry.
conversation,
like,
like
you know, the only Christopher we acknowledge is Wallace, you know, but like that's a whole fact.
like you asking me if I enjoy our society or not. The things that I enjoy in society are because of the sacrifices of women. It is not because of the sacrifices of
Sacrifice
men.
of men as well.
It's not
'Cause the
though,
reason why
because the
the-
right to vote that was fought for by women, mainly black women. It was black women who spearheaded the civil rights movement that gave people of color access to universities, access to education, access to schools, and all these things. Like it is the backs of women that we are able to enjoy all of these things, and that gets disregarded so much and so often. And I would just like to say that I do.
And
think
you just saying, oh, men are the ones who
built
did this and
society.
that.
That's
It's basically
not
just
true.
dashing away all the hard work that us women.
But we learn time and time again the great contribution that men have done to society has led and brought us here. I'm not saying, okay, yeah, I'm basically saying that. But on top of that, yeah, I'm aware that women have done some great things in society in terms of contributing to what we have going on over here. But to try to say that men have put down women in terms of not putting them in
But like if you
positions to
think of
shine.
like the patriarchy, like exactly what we were talking about earlier when you're talking about the Bible, men were able to establish this power because they were putting women down. Men were not rising up to this power because they were like great men. Like it was dominating women that made them look dominant. It was having sex with multiple women that made them look dominant. It was crushing women that made them look dominant. You could like make that parallel with like white people versus people who are not white. White people are not powerful in the themselves. A white person could easily make the argument saying, we civilized the rest of the world.
Exactly.
Look at white dominated countries.
We know it's cap, though.
Better.
Black people civilize white people. Let's get this all the way right.
Yeah, see, you're making
But you see how you got
Exactly.
You see how you just got chilled by her saying
because
that?
I know the facts, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, I know the facts. That's what I'm saying. Like, black people civilized white people because they were living in fucking crazy time in Europe.
Definitely.
The black people came. I think it was the Moors. They came into thing. They taught them science,
and like nobody's denying that. Nobody's denying
and
that.
And then
Okay, but like now listen to like what I'm saying.
I'm just letting you know what it is.
When you say that like
But
men have like built up the society, so have women, and it is because men oppressed women that they were able to do that. Even today, everything we eat is probably farmed by women in third world countries. All the clothes we're wearing is definitely made by women in sweatshops. Like it is the oppression of women that has made this society what it is.
I think oftentimes women are displaced in terms of occupation, in terms of like I think people like to argue. Also, another thing, people like to argue about the wage gap between women and men.
Yeah.
But I think I would want to take a deeper look into that and go like, hey, what sector of work are women in versus the other sectors of work that the men are in, right? So if I'm a woman, right, oftentimes you see women, there's high volumes of women in these type of sectors, like the teaching sector, like the nursing and things like that, and other things. So those things are often are heavily, with women inside it. But like you want to go to another sector in terms of where you can have high earners.
No, but
and there's also little women, because women often raised and groomed to look at these sectors of occupation and go like, these are more women geared occupations in terms of now. Why is there not so many women inside like the tech sector? It's because women are not
inspired
or pushed to go to that sector. So oftentimes they're going over here.
Exactly.
In the medical sector, when there's a bunch of nurses and stuff like that, obviously a doctor is going to get made more than a nurse. There's always going to be discrepancy in prices in terms of what sector you go to and where you place yourself in it. Like, yeah.
But what if they're in the same field? And then the men are making more money versus than the women just because.
Is it because you're just a woman, or because men are often because
we're doing the same work?
I'm gonna use like a really relevant example.
But hold on. I'll let you use it. But I'll let you use it. But like, are women, if they are in the same job and doing the same work, is the woman making less because it's because of what the society has geared men to go like, all right, you walk into a job and you demand what you want, rather when women are giving what and they'll take what they're giving.
It?
Exactly. Is that the reason? Because we could talk about that. I don't think everyone talks about what you get.
That's a conversation.
I think that's definitely a conversation to be had. But like another conversation that we could be had is like, think about the pandemic that we were just in, and like in my hometown specifically, Kitchener, Ontario. Yeah. So nurses.
That's Stratford. Oh my Lord.
So nurses are frontline workers. Nurses have been doing the grunt work of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Exactly.
Nurses were only eligible for pandemic pay for like X amount of months. It was something like it was not even for the full year. Whereas policemen, firefighters, I'm talking about people who are paid publicly paid servants like nurses, firefighters, policemen, etc. Firemen, policemen, they were given that pandemic pay. I think they might even still be making that pandemic pay, whereas the nurses, a woman-dominated field, were not given that equal opportunity. And that's blatant sexism to me. That is saying your value as a woman who is doing the grunt work of the COVID-19 pandemic is not as valuable as a firefighter or as a policeman, etc., when it's just as dangerous, it's just as challenging, and it is just as essential. Like, I think there is a wage gap, regardless of how you want to slice it and be like, men do more intensive work, men do more CEO positions. Yes, there are all like determining factors, but at the end of the day, there is a wage gap. And at the end of the day, I will probably be paid less than a white man working in my position, period.
You can always go inside and negotiate your pay.
Definitely, but
easier said than done, though.
How is it easier said than done?
Because if
you literally go and go like, I'm going to negotiate what I want.
No, you're right. I do agree in a sense where we do need to start negotiating our wages in a sense where putting our foot down. Like, no, this is what you're going to pay me because this is my self-worth or whatever the case is.
Exactly.
But at the same time, like, I'm going to argue with my wage, and then you versus you going to argue your wage, they're more likely going to say yes to you than they are going to say yes to me.
I mean, if I give them a good argument.
No, that's not what it is.
All of the negative stereotypes attached to women.
Yeah,
and then
it
also
does go back to the negative stereotypes.
Yeah, I like made a TikTok that was
For
like just
women
talking about how like women in society are not built up to feel good about themselves. Like think about like plastic surgery, think about makeup. I know you guys were having like the BBL talk, like is the BBL a part of the male gaze? Like all of these like unrealistic beauty expectations for women. Like women are built to feel worthless, and in feeling worthless about yourself, like you are not going to be empowered enough to ask for a raise. You're not going to be empowered enough to walk away from a man who is doing you wrong.
That's a self-esteem
Like,
thing. I think there's men with low self-esteem as well.
It's like yes, there is, but there
also
isn't
society, if you're looking at it
there
as a
isn't
whole.
multi-billion-dollar industries telling you that you're ugly, telling you that you have hip dips, telling you that you're too
Campaigns,
fat, telling you that you have a flat back. Like there's something nitpicky and trendy about a woman's body like every 10 years. Do you know what I mean? Like 12 years ago, nobody wanted a fat ass. Now all of a sudden, everyone wants a fat ass.
I mean, 12
TikTok
years
showed
ago,
everyone like, oh my
fat
God,
ass
you have
was
hip dips. Like
Okay,
no one knew what hip dips were. Do you know what I mean?
Beauty
Like
standards, beauty standards.
like
Come back to us.
yeah,
We're
like
talking about beauty standards as a whole.
all right.
I'm just saying that like
God.
women are made to feel worthless so that they don't feel empowered to make those negotiations that you're asking them to make.
All right,
If
so
that makes sense.
I'm not only am I asking them, it's more so a business thing, right? It's like there's no friends in business, right? You know, with that being said, you walk into a business or you walk into an employer and you negotiate what you want. It's like, I'm not willing to work with you unless I'm getting this type of thing, and you're always free to walk away. You know.
But that's not going to cover the wage gap between men and women.
Exactly.
All right. So that whole wage gap.
Or even just breaking the glass ceiling. Easy. It's much
Literally,
easier
like
said
there
than
are
done.
so many
Glass ceiling
rooms,
is glass,
so many
though.
positions where women have
hard to
not
break,
sat
man. It's
on.
one of
Glass
those-
is not hard to break.
I'm telling you, this glass ceiling.
Glass is not hard to
Actually,
break.
it's not impenetrable. You can break it, but
Definitely.
it's harder to do it. So I think what's to be said here is that basically we're never going to
Basically,
agree on the same thing in the sense where
I think we should just stop discrediting women and stop believing that women did absolutely nothing for the last like 8,000 years of
I mean,
human
they do have that saying.
evolution.
It's like behind every great man is a powerful woman. Right?
and they need to start saying. Actually, no, they shouldn't say that. Behind a great woman,
We're
is
better
is
when we
just
work
women.
together, and we do have a common enemy, which is the patriarchy. I think, like we said about men's mental health, like all of those issues of like not feeling like you're able to talk about your feelings, not feeling like you're able to reach out to someone and be like, hey, I am, trigger warning, like feeling suicidal, like I need help. Like all of those things stem from this like patriarchal view of
But
men
also,
and women.
you know what the thing is too? Not only like men feel like unable to speak about their feelings or mental health, but they have also been get patronized by women if they do come off a little, soft. It's like,
Definitely.
man, you acting like a bitch, my boy. So get up, like a girl would say that to you.
And I
like,
think
a woman would
that
say
still
to a
adds.
man.
It's still problematic as well.
And that's a valid conversation. Like, just because I'm a woman does not mean I'm absolved from being sexist. And it does not mean that I'm absolved from having patriarchal views and upholding them. Like, women are definitely guilty
I was gonna say a lot of women do have
of
those.
perpetuating
And
these
a lot of
toxic
women
things.
perpetuate those things to their sons as well.
Yes,
So it's a
definitely.
cycle.
Definitely.
But you can't just put one blame on one thing and then disregard another.
I think it's a combination of things, but like
Yeah, it is.
you gotta look, if you're gonna examine everything, you gotta examine everything
Definitely,
as a
definitely.
whole.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, it's important to teach these things because, again, like when it's passed down, it gets passed on to their sons, and then that's how they view life, and also how they treat the other in a relationship as well.
It's true, because even in my house, like every time my mom says something and I'm like, nope, you can't be saying that because my brother's hearing it, and now he's deep, because he's always like, she's always like, as a woman, you shouldn't be doing this. As a woman, you shouldn't be doing that. Okay, no, we shouldn't be saying that at all, because then my brother's hearing this and he's laughing in the corner thinking, oh, then I can do it because I'm a man, or I can do it because, you know what I mean? I'm not a woman. And I feel like that also adds to the problem when you're talking about like mothers and also fathers feeding onto their children saying this is how you're supposed to act when you're a man and this is how you're supposed to act when you're a woman, and all those gender roles in general is just, it's bad. Like, you gotta even know how else to put it. We need to stop doing that.
It's crazy. I've talked to some guys that I know that strongly believe, like, yeah, my girl, she gotta cook for me. She still gotta do that. Like that type of mentality still exists to this day. It's crazy.
And like,
You can have it, but
yeah, definitely.
I don't know how many women you're gonna find, but you can have it.
Like, if you make enough,
No, but
Oh, no.
that's the problem too.
Yeah, but like no, like but like that should have brought
No,
that's
I
what
didn't
it is.
expect you to say that.
No,
Victoria.
No, say it,
I'm
say it.
saying,
Say it.
realistically, in this capitalistic society, if you expect a woman to cook and clean and do 90, probably 100% of the household chores, you need to be able to fund that. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But that is also
And
the
make sure that
patriarchy,
she's
that
getting
expectation where the man has to be the breadwinner and where the woman has to do 100% of like the
And
in-house
women
labor.
will scold you for not being a breadwinner. It's like, how am I making more money than you, man? I can't date no guy that's
Definitely.
making
And that's
less
like,
money.
that's the patriarchy as well. That expectation where
I can
men
date a guy
have
who's
to make.
making less money than me. I expect to be
kind of
making
money.
big money.
That's true. Like I
You
feel
say that
I
on
feel
camera.
that.
But like, can you
Well,
put that
wallahi,
to practice?
Catch me in 5-7 years, and we'll have this conversation again.
Alright, man.
Yeah, I expect to be making more money than my husband.
And then you're gonna get a guy who's making less money than you. It's like, it didn't work out.
That's why I can't be with men like that. If you're afraid that I'm, this powerful woman who's making all this money, if you guys
Like,
no, but it's
actually,
true.
though.
You can't just, your ego can't be small, based on the fact that I'm out here grinding, doing my thing, and
Exactly.
making
No,
more
I
money
never
than
said
you.
anything like
No,
that.
but a lot of men are. It's like, my girl can't have more money than me. Okay, why not?
And like my power as a woman should not emasculate
Exactly.
you.
Why is that?
Because like, what is your masculinity, your pride as a man? Like, what is it founded in? If it's
Just
so
you making
ego,
more.
if it's so fragile.
Yeah, it's basically you saying you always have to be better than me. Like,
Exactly, like
not okay.
exactly, like it's the oppression of women that
Yeah.
makes men feel
Yeah.
like they are great.
No, I'm telling you, and this is why I can't be talking to no rinky dinky man. You have to be doing something because I stay on my shit. I do bare things. Like, you know what I mean? You can't.
Exactly.
You have no comments.
No. I totally blanked out what you said.
Wow.
And like it's so hard to like date men when you are such a like strong feminist. I feel like
Is it really that, or is it because you're just
is,
annoying?
though.
It's like there's a difference. You can be strong and not annoying.
some people are annoying. No.
I
Some
definitely-
people are annoying. Some people are annoying. But for you to say that, you're out of pocket.
Like I definitely feel that, but like I feel like men, and like once you become aware of a problem, like you will see it everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Like that first time you're
more
aware of
prominent.
like, oh my god, like I'm uncomfortable when guys are like, oh yeah, and then bitches be like when they just do dumb shit like that, where they just like disregard women and they like constantly objectify women in like a
Yeah.
disgusting way. Like you're just like, that's like an ick to me. And it's really hard to find men who don't do that. Do you know what I mean?
It's locker talk, man. It's locker talk.
Locker talk.
Sometimes, well, speaking from the devil advocate, men are not the devil, but sometimes it's just like it's just become so routine. It's like you just in average conversation because men might be around you so often in that way. Because if you're pursuing a guy, you often spend a lot of time. So my inner self is gonna expose itself to you, and it's like I'm just like chilling. We're talking about things like, man, bitches be like, hey.
So your inner self is comfortable with misogyny?
Hey man, it is what it is. Like, it is what it is. Like if it's that, then it's that. But like, is it coming off to you? Like often guys would say, my bitch is a polite bitch.
My eyes fucking twitching, bro.
You know what I mean?
the hell?
There's a difference sometimes.
If I ever heard,
You know what I
if
mean?
my boyfriend ever like actually straight up said that, like
My bitch is a polite bitch. But like, it's not
Please
more
don't
so.
refer to me as a bitch.
It's not saying my girl is a polite girl. It's when I say the word bitch, it's not like to be demeaning.
I
You know what I mean?
definitely understand that there's like
That's also
context
the
behind
culture.
the word. It's
Yeah.
not like actually tied to like the misogyny and blah 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 blah, like all those things. But like at the end of the day, yes, it is. Because we just, do you know what I mean? Like we don't use disrespectful terms for men. Like it's whatever. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm not that deep integrated into
Yeah,
women
that's fair,
conversation,
that's
so
fair, that's
I'm
fair.
not. I don't know that to be true or not. Mm-hmm. I haven't been inside those type of circles.
But like,
Group
what's the male
chats.
equivalent of a slut? What's the male equivalent of a whore?
You tell me.
No, like that's a real question.
I don't
Like,
even
what
think
is it?
there is. And I think now people
Exactly.
are just, yeah.
Like there isn't one because we don't scorn men for having multiple partners, but we do it to women.
I call them man-hoes.
Yeah, but you say man-hos.
Oh,
You
yeah,
clarify
yeah.
that they're a man-ho.
Yeah.
When you say ho, you're like, oh, it's a woman. Like, yeah. Those conversations.
a treesh, a leg.
It's also okay for men to have more than one girl, especially in different cultures as well. I know for like back home, my grandfathers had probably more than 4 wives each.
Like consecutively.
probably one go 4, and then consecutively.
Like consecutively or at the same time? Because consecutively
Oh,
is
sorry,
one
at
after
the
the
same-
other.
at the same time,
Simultaneously.
simultaneously,
Yeah.
simultaneously. But at the same time. And it goes back to the whole notion of if you can afford it, then you can do it. It's okay. But if
Oh,
if
yeah,
the
4 wives at the same time?
Yep. If the roles
annoying.
were flipped. And the girl had 4 mans. Then this woman's acting out of
loose.
character.
That's a lot of
She
men.
needs to look at
Oh man.
her. Yeah, no, but I'm just.
No, I'm not saying it like that.
In
It's just-
some
that's a lot
but I'm
to
saying like
handle,
in
though.
some cultures, like that's the norm. Dead ass.
No, I said the fact that her granddad had like 4 wives. I was like, that's
Yeah.
annoying.
I mean-
I find having multiple partners at one time. That's a lot. Like,
You've had multiple partners at one time.
it just sounds like a lot. Think about it. You're dealing with one person. That could be a
No,
handful.
yeah.
Like you're telling me you're dealing with like
Yep.
3 other people on top of that. That's a lot.
But they
People
all,
who have
but
like
they all
rosters,
agree to it.
I can't.
yeah, and then they're all agreeing to it, but
Yeah.
they're all annoying.
Listen,
Like,
you don't have to tell me. That could not be me.
they're all annoying.
It's an hour for me. But it's a part of some cultures. So do you guys think, going back to some of the questions that we have, do relationships work in today's society?
Yeah. Well, hold on.
Hold
Hold on. Let me explain why. Let me explain.
Do relationships work?
Yes.
Some of them do, some of them don't.
Period. They work.
Some people
I don't
you're
know.
in a relationship.
No, I am. I'm talking about
Yes,
for
so
everyone.
it
No, I'm one of the.
It works.
Hold on.
If you say anything other than it works, your relationship is doomed.
No, I brought that question because I hear so many times with these type of conversations. Oh, I can't be with this. I can't be with that.
So do relationship works, Jeff? Yes or no?
For me, yes, because I'm special.
Bro,
So I
How you cop on the
actually
question?
don't get the question then.
How you cop
Can
on
I
the
like
question?
add something to like the conversation? So like we do live in a capitalist society, but
Yeah.
we do agree that there's like that patriarchal standard where like a man provides and then a woman does all the housework. If that
Well,
equation,
that's old fashioned.
yeah, but so the reality is
I want my
that
girl to work.
2 people are going to be working full time.
I need my girl to work.
2 people are going to be so
You're not gonna be at home. What are you doing?
exactly. So like 2 people are going to be working at the same time, but who's going to be raising the children? Who's going to be making dinner every night? Who's going to be doing all the laundry, folding all the clothes, and doing all the housework?
Since we live in a
most of
capitalistic
the
society,
time,
we're gonna pay someone to do it.
No, but most of the
Daycare,
time, most of the time, though,
it's
like
a
the women
woman.
are expected to.
Exactly.
Oh, you worked all day. Okay,
So, like,
so what? Go deal with the children.
exactly,
Go
like,
make the food.
we're-
Granted, you did hold on to that baby for what, 9, almost 10 months in your womb.
That's what.
You
That's your
birthed-
excuse.
You birthed the child.
Exactly. I
You
need a break.
have
I need a
different
break
type of
now. I need a
emotional,
break now.
connectional
I need a
connection
break
with that
now.
child
9
to
months.
Where you want to physically be there. The man gets that.
Wait, I don't know what you're talking about right now.
He's
because
basically
that
saying.
was-
saying.
No,
I'm
actually, I don't even want to
I'm
explain what
saying-
you're saying.
okay.
I don't even want to know what you're saying.
It makes sense.
I'm gonna go back to like what I was saying though, but
Alright,
like
go ahead,
what
go
I was
ahead.
saying is that
I'll
women
listen
are
up.
expected to now work for that 8-hour day, 40 hours a week, same as a man, get paid less, and still have to do the grunt of the housework.
And you're saying
I
that's
think
okay
that-
because we carry the child
you're
for 9
assuming that
months.
They're doing a grunt. Huh?
I am going
No,
to assume
more
that.
times.
Assuming
I'm
you're assuming.
definitely doing the
Assume
grind.
What do you mean more times? Are you in a loving
times.
relationship with a man?
More
having
no,
children?
no, more times
No,
from what
that's the answer is no.
I see based on my family members and my friends and all this and that. More times the women will definitely hold the grunt of the work. They have to come home, do the cooking, the cleaning, and then make the food. And then you're saying that that's okay based on the
choose up.
fact that
Choose up.
Do you think that type of work has economic value?
Choose up.
I think
I
it should
do
have
think
economic,
has
economic value, but it
The pimp
doesn't.
says choose up.
Right now,
The
it doesn't.
unpaid
Shut
labor
up.
of women makes the world go around.
If your man at
period.
home not doing goddamn nothing, and you out here doing a lot of work, choose up. Yes, your man that gives you equal opportunity, man.
Yeah, choose better. Okay.
Choose better.
Yep, choose better.
Yeah, it ain't hard. Choose up.
It ain't.
Choose up.
With people thinking like you is hard.
Definitely.
What's wrong with me?
But
Am I the problem?
You are the problem. You are part of the problem. 1,000%.
Am I the fly in the ointment?
What percentage of Apollos are there in the male
I
group?
don't even know.
I think just me.
I think over 60,
I
and that's
am him.
scary.
Over 60%?
Yeah.
You think
I
so?
think no. I don't
over
think there's.
60%.
I don't think no.
No?
No.
Less? Okay.
No
Then
one's like
there's
me.
still hope, y'all.
There's no one like me, man. Jeff is in a whole relationship.
I have a beautiful, loving partner. He's
Exactly.
like-
There's two.
That's true.
There's 50% of the people sitting right here in a relationship.
Yeah. Okay, well,
man.
granted.
And
that.
And also,
beautiful,
like,
loving
I went
relationship.
There's
viral on
hope.
TikTok after I got into a relationship. So he was already dating me, and then I started talking about feminism, and I was like so nervous to have that conversation and be like, yeah. So I'm really into feminism. I hope you're about it. And it was
Hold
like
on. So how long did you keep that away from him before you asked?
I didn't keep it away from him. I only went viral like earlier this year, and we've been dating since like September of last year or
For
whatever.
a year. But like how
Yes.
long? When did he come to know?
Well,
that
he
you're-
followed me on TikTok, and then he like got to see me grow into like the TikTok feminist that I have become. But like I've always been a feminist. Like I've been a feminist since I was a child, basically. It just
So
happened.
did he catch waves? Like, did he have any feelings about
he
you?
definitely had a lot of questions, and I think that was like the best part of like getting to be on this feminist journey with him is like him having questions and then me being like open to responding to them. And he's like an intellect, so he will ask like, hey, so like you say this about this, but I noticed that you do this, like being very critical of the things that I'm
that's
doing
fair.
and like just wanting to know why. So I think that has like made me become a better feminist, and also like appreciate men a lot more. I think in the past I've definitely like discredited men and been like, yeah, like I don't have hope, but like
What?
Like, say, no, a lot of women are starting to
I
say
was
like, well, how men are
definitely-
trash
yeah, I
and this
was
and
on
that.
like,
Yes.
men are
Like
trash
I said,
wave,
choose
like,
up.
True.
men cannot be saved kind of
Choose
wave,
up.
but like he like really made me
up.
realize that, and like yeah.
You dealing with trash? Choose up.
I'm not even gonna
Choose up.
what's it called? Disagree. 100%. Do
Choose
better,
up.
y'all. You know your self worth, so choose.
Choose up.
Oh,
You could get with this or you could get with that. You could get with this or you could get with that.
all right. Do we got time to talk a little bit about Will Smith?
I guess very briefly.
That relationship is a headache.
It is a headache.
To be honest, all right. So from I just want to put this out there. I rock with Will Smith. I said this last time
You
on
wanna
the
say it
Red
again?
Table Talk. He disclosed that he puts his Mac down when it comes to Jada, and Jada doesn't over separate place like that. She knows how to respect that man. I just don't know what's going out in the public that makes him look like he's a simp and he's kind of weak. But I stand with Will Smith. I think in his household, he's dominant. I know that to be fact.
And that was like everything you just said was very interesting. Like using words like simp, he's weak. This like all ties into
But
like
really,
the conversation
I agree.
about the paycheck.
Those are popular opinions of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like he's not. He's totally opposite.
Or down bad. That's like something that people say a lot.
And like how are you gonna say he's down bad for someone he's been married to for 20 years? Like when are you allowed to be down bad for somebody? Do you know what I mean? Like why is it such a bad thing when a man is like receptive to being submissive to his wife?
Oh,
I don't know if I wanna say that.
Down bad does not mean submissive. Please do not put that out there. Down bad is not submissive.
But, like,
you down.
do you know how many-
down bad is not submissive.
Do you know how many
No.
conversations I see like on the daily where people are like, "Oh, I need a woman who's submissive to me." Blah blah blah. Like, do you know what I mean? Like that submission conversation is like very popular, but like when you say the opposite,
No. See this thing.
See, your eye twitch.
a real man don't want a girl that's submissive.
a real man,
wants a
yeah,
girl
you're
that's
having the patriarchy
a
talk.
real man
Because
wants.
then I ask him like,
check
oh,
this
what's
out.
a real man? Oh, mhm.
Chick, no, a real man wants a girl that's agreeable. There's a difference.
Okay, what's a real man? I'm genuinely asking as a woman who
I don't know if he can give
As
you
a-
that
as a real
answer.
woman?
as a woman,
As a real woman?
as a real woman who
As a real man?
what's a real man?
So if you really want to know this,
I want to know.
So like, agreeable woman is necessary.
What's an agreeable woman?
What is
You want a
what
yes
does that
man?
have to do with the question that I just asked?
Agreeable woman.
See, like,
Agreeable
and like
woman.
this is another.
This is why I
thing-
can't have conversations
like,
with
This
you.
is actually like another thing when it comes to like toxic masculinity. Like, I feel like men cannot talk about masculinity without talking about women and
Didn't I ask
explicitly.
you about masculinity the last conversation?
And so an agreeable woman is
The question said. The question was,
it's
what
not a
is a real man?
It's not a combativeness, you know. It's more of a like.
You really finna just
But,
talk
like,
to
okay,
yourself
hold on.
right now.
Try to describe.
You guys are off topic. I don't know what you guys are doing.
Try to describe what a real man
You guys
is
are off
without
topic.
talking about women.
Huh?
Like, just try to describe what a real man is without talking about women,
that's easy.
without in relationship to women. Like, what is a real man to you?
To me,
Should have never said that part.
real man. A real man to me is easy, right? So. Oh, I'm supposed to answer this question for real, though.
Wait.
All right, so to be honest,
Yeah, dude.
So a real man
My God,
is
Roll the cuffs down for this one.
he's 10 toes down, lets his nuts drag,
Yeah.
and he's firm in his beliefs.
Okay,
Like?
okay, I can get behind that. Except for I don't understand the let his nuts hang. I grew up in a household of all girls, right? Like the only man in my house is my dad, and then it's me and my two sisters and my mom. So it's like, anytime people make like what's that word? Like penis jokes and like.
It's not even a penis joke. It's literally.
You said nuts hang.
Nuts
How should
hang.
I interpret that?
It's like it's colloquialism. I can't even say the word. It's you know what I mean?
I respect that. Okay.
Yeah, it's
4.
You got, all right.
We gotta wrap it up. He's gotta go.
So let's say, all right. So what I said in to wrap up everything I said, because I use a lot of slang and things like that, is just a real man in my eyes is someone that is authentic to themselves, dominant, and stands their ground. Is acceptable of their own actions, and is what's the other word I want to use? Firm. Yeah.
Firm.
What's does a real man mean to you, Jeff?
Oh, okay, my turn.
Jeff, don't say nothing crazy now.
No, I'd say nothing crazy. I just think, wow, that's
Just like being a real man mean.
So like
a real man is somebody who is self-aware,
period.
in touch with his emotions and his understanding, and in some ways dominant. I agree with in some degree.
You're not saying.
Sure.
That to me is like the opposite of being dominant, because I feel like if your nuts hang, you're like,
Letting loose.
yeah, like you're vibing.
Being open?
No,
I'm
no,
interpreting
no,
it as like let your hair down, like
Letting your nuts hang is like, you know, because you know what, when a male, like, I think it comes off a biological standpoint, when a male finally starts to grow and hit the puberty and functions, their nuts begin to drop.
From a boy to a
and
man.
After the nuts drop,
is that where
you start the testosterone starts to glow into the body and the voice starts to change and things like that. So letting your nuts hang just shows that you're rooted within who you are.
okay.
Okay, I learned something new today.
I learned something new today.
Yeah, that's why like when someone says, "Yo, I'm gonna let my nuts hang, I'm gonna dick drag," you know, it's
I've
more
never
so
heard
dick
that
drag.
phrase in my life.
Okay.
it's like it's more so it's like you're not gonna play with this because I'm firm.
Like you're not taking any BS.
Exactly, I'm gonna let my nuts hang. I'm a dick drag. And I don't say that to be like on some type of real nasty shit. I'm just saying it's another way of just saying I'm dominant. I'm just don't play with me like that.
Okay. I have nothing to say to
Okay.
that.
Okay, we can wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Honestly, this has been a cool conversation.
A lot has been talked about.
Literally, we learned some new things. We agreed, we disagreed, but
Yeah.
What? I say often.
Paulo said what he had to say. But
He
this
did.
has been a
He
cool
really did.
episode. Victoria, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Yes, and for all of y'all, don't forget to continue watching us, listening to us as well. You can catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud. You can also check out this episode on YouTube as well. And make sure to follow us on Instagram at Street Voices to check out all the cool things that we're doing. We're also on TikTok. And yeah, just keep vibing.
And quick shout out to you. Any plugs?
Yeah, put your plugs in.
Yeah, follow me on TikTok. It's my full government name.
Nice.
How you spell the last name?
GRAV like Victor, ESAN like November, DE.
And
There you go.
The
Echo.
This has been The Echo with your host, Kadiatu.
Apollo P.
And Jeffrey.
We'll see y'all next time.
Peace.